Blackline Brief starts now.
What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Man, sometimes I forget what day it is. That happens a lot. Groundhog Day. At it again. All right, you guys. Welcome to another episode of the Blackline Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McCam, and we got a good show for you today. Don't know if you guys saw Candace Owens' show today. Hopefully you guys did. I was so surprised. She missed something when talking about the shooter on the other roof. Yeah, something that I remembered from the day one of the prelim that we're going to look at. But first, let's get some administrative things out of the way. As you guys come in, please do me a favor as you get comfortable, you get settled, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's how you can help support this channel, and I appreciate it. I want to try this thing. Let's see what this does. Ooh. Subscribe today. My brother-in-law, he's doing some cool stuff, man. All right. Well, another thing that I wanted to show you guys while we're here, if you guys are on X, please do me a favor and follow me on X. My brother-in-law is creating a lot of good shorts and clips that we're going to be uploading here, but we're also going to be creating a YouTube clips, YouTube shorts channel and X shorts clips channel. So stay tuned for that. And then also, if you guys are on Instagram, you can also subscribe and follow me there. You know, if you're not on all of them, that's fine. Just whatever one you are on, please give me a like and a follow and a subscribe. It's called different. It's something different on each one. They're not always the same. But all right. So in preparation for the show today, I definitely have some of my the videos that I had planned for, like that's in line with the thumbnail and the title and the video description. However, there's a couple things that happen throughout the day when talking with other people and watching Candace Owens that I was like, man, I got to touch on that because something stuck out to me. And I don't know if she's going to cover it tomorrow or not, but it's like, I definitely got to cover it. So let's start with Candace Owens, and then we will jump over to the preliminary hearing, day one, when Karen Nestor is cross-examining Bagley. I think his name is Bagley, the officer that was on top of the Hall of Flags, right? The one that was standing up there and supposedly didn't see the dude on the Losi Center roof that supposedly like ran out and was like popping up and down and then low crawling and then laying down in the prone position. It's like straight across. Like you, even if you're just like looking around, like your peripheral, it's like, it's gonna stand out to you, especially in like a blue skyline of that day. And the guy's wearing supposedly all black, right? And it's just like a figure all black. It's just going to stick out like a sore thumb. Didn't see it. But supposedly then the gunshot goes off. And in his testimony with prosecution, he's like, yeah, and I heard it. And it was a rifle. And I looked right over there because I knew it. My spidey senses were going off, you know? No, he's Sherlock Holmes. He's got to trust his own gut. He's like, with my 26 years of experience, I heard it. It sounded like a long gun. It sounded like a high caliber rifle. It sounded like it came from the east over yonder. So I looked. Aha, the sniper's perch. I shall go. But he's a chubby cop, and it took him 27 minutes to get there. He got lost on the way. He got distracted. He's like a squirrel trying to get a nut. There it is. Nope. That's an empty gun holster. Oh, wait, they just got George Zinn. Maybe I'll just secure the scene down here. Does he secure the scene? No. There's people taking stuff. Terrell Farnsworth and freaking Philip Goldsberry are taking the chair that Charlie was murdered on. They're like whispering to each other, Terrell and Philip, and they're like, people are filming us. how are we going to do this? Terrell's like, I do this all the time. You just do it. He just picks up the chair, puts it down, stands on it, and just takes the SD cards down, puts it in his pocket, and then goes and gets the other SD cards from the other cameras. No one's securing the scene. Chief Long comes over and he gets the microphone and he's all, oh, we're good. And then he puts it down on the table. People from the security team are picking things up in the grass. They're moving stuff. They're kicking grass around. I don't know. What are they looking for? Shrapnel from the road mic? Empty bullet casings? I don't know. We don't know. They didn't secure the scene. Anyways, Bagley, once he realizes, he goes, oh, that can't be the guy. It's just an empty holster. Who cares where the gun is? And then he's like, oh, yeah, the Losi Center roof. I got to go over there. So he finally gets over there 27 minutes later. And what do you know? He gets up to the top. And right when he gets to the top, his body cam dies. Well, he doesn't know that it dies when he's asked. He's like, I mean, maybe it died. I think, possibly. Maybe it malfunctioned. I don't know. I know that they hold their charges for 14 to 18 hours. And I know it was charged this morning. And I know I've only been out here for a couple hours. But like, it just stopped working. Who's that other cop that was with you? Catherine Nestor asked. There was another guy on his body cam in the beginning. And then they get to the top. Body cam dies. But Catherine's like, who was that other plainclothes guy with you? And he's like, I don't know. He just had a badge. Well, that's smart. Just don't even look at the badge. Don't check and ask him what is his badge number. Don't ask him any specific questions to find out if he's lying. Should he even be there? He had a badge. It's like when Brian Harpole is like, I don't question Rick Cutler. He's got the tattoo. He's one of me. He's one of us. He's got the tattoo. So it's like a lot of these guys, they just see tattoos or shiny objects in the shape of a badge, and they're just like, yeah, you should be here. Totally. I know it's just a high profile crime of the century, but yeah, you can just come right in, come right up on the crime scene. And then that's when they find the magic screwdriver that was not on body camera. Yeah. Okay. That was kind of like a side quest. That was improvisation right there. But we're going to get to the part of Candace Owens. But before we do, let's say thank you to Patriot for All. Great show. Recently discovered you. Keep up the great work. You're easy to listen to and seem kind and authentic. Go Max. Thank you, Patriot for All. I am just being me. You can ask my wife and you can ask Mystic. This is just who I am. Ask my pops. It's my father-in-law and my brother-in-law. It's just me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mystic, thank you so much for the 5 Black Line Brief gifted memberships. Mystic, OG. Mystic. All right, let's do it. Here we go. The Queen Bee. Here we go. Make sure it's right where we need it. Yeah.
It's going around. Everyone is suddenly finding Dory. Take a listen.
Yeah, of course. When officers were canvassing the scene, they were also trying to see, the route of the shooter as well as just trying to find the shooter. And they determined that the Fulton Library stood out because there were unattended items there at the bus stops that were away from the courtyard area. And so to them, they thought it was suspicious.
And were certain items seized from, and what were they?
Yes, you had a backpack, a jacket, as well as some gloves. And there may have been some other things. I just don't recall them right now.
And do you recall what the item numbers were of those seizures? Was it 9? Does that ring a bell?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Whatever was seized was sent to the FBI lab for processing?
Yes.
And along with some information that the suspect may have shed some of these items as he fled, correct?
Yes.
Was a decision at some time made, and you were requesting that both DNA and other type of analysis get done?
Yes.
At some point, did you decide to pull a plug on that?
At the time when it was already sent, we didn't have more information as far as whether or not the evidence that were collected there were probative.
But eventually you communicated to the lab that those items were not in fact connected with the case and there was no need to do further testing.
I don't remember communicating that.
Okay. If that's in the notes of the FBI or the ATF, would that be inconsistent with what you know?
No.
Okay, that was weird, right? She's like, I don't remember saying that in my notes. And then he goes, well, if it's in your notes, would that be inconsistent with what you know? And then she's like, no, that's consistent. Wait, you just said you didn't know. Now you know? You don't know, you know? All right. Palomina, let's go.
Okay, I'm mentioning because some of the reports, the lab reports, have those items listed.
Okay.
I just want to be clear that those items.
She's like, okay, news to me. Thanks for filling me in. I know it's my report and I signed it, but I appreciate you relaying that information to me, catching me up on everything. Usually the prosecution does that. You're the defense, but I appreciate it. Way to look it out.
Eventually, you determined were not related to this case. Would that be fair?
Yeah, that would be fair.
It's a weird time for your memory to go out. You found in, let's call this like the biggest manhunt plausibly ever.
Yep.
Biggest assassination without question since JFK. I think bigger than the JFK assassination.
Agreed.
Global interest in this case. You're on the manhunt. You find unattended items, a backpack, a jacket and gloves. That's interesting because it was like, what, 90 degrees?
It was.
So what kind of gloves are we talking that you found unattended at the bus stop by the library? And I wish we had showed you the lead up to this question, because what he's essentially asking her is, you have made it clear that the person who jumped off Losi Center ran this particular route. Just so you guys know, the library is not near the Losi Center. So the reason why that route became significant and why they noticed these abandoned odd items, of which she's only recalling in her fuzzy memory 3 of them, but he goes on to say there was actually 9. And you guys wanted it to be tested and then suddenly told the feds not to test it. Do you remember telling the feds not to test it?
Nope.
I don't remember.
I don't remember that.
Okay. Well, it's in.
Do you guys think they were mittens? Do you guys think they were mittens with no fingers? It's like the mittens, like the lobster mittens. Or do you think they were tactical gloves? 90 degrees in September. You think someone's wearing like gloves to keep their hands warm? Or do you think that they have a specific function? You know what I mean? Yeah, you'd wear tactical gloves, especially if you were doing something tactical.
It's in their notes. Is it correct? Yeah, it's in the notes.
Yeah,
it's correct.
good.
You don't remember telling them not to test?
I don't know.
Who was wearing a jacket and gloves?
Billy Bob.
At near the Fulton Library. We're going to talk about why that is relevant. Anyway, the reason that those details immediately jogged my memory was because of that route, right? Back in the early investigation, my early investigation,
Sure.
Someone had told me specifically that they were there by the bus stop, and they actually ended up making a report about having seen the alleged shooter, someone on the roof, and had a totally different description of what the person looked like. Described the person as wearing all black tactical gear and intentionally having every piece of their body covered in black.
Yes. Okay. Couple things. So I don't know how many of you watch Candace Owens regularly and Baron Coleman. Okay. But when you do, each of them cover different things at times. And if you recall back when Baron Coleman was covering the 911 calls, and a lot of calls, people in tactical gear, or at least wearing like jeans and all black, like a shirt and a long rifle, were in these calls. Okay. And at that same time, when that was happening, was around the time too. Well, I don't know if it was exactly around the time, but if you just recall back when Candace Owens, when this video came out initially, the video she's about to play about the dude on the ground walking over to the Losi Center, looking up, and he was like, I don't know. There's like a dude. He just ran out. He started over there. He just ran out. He's laying right there. Just saying. Yeah, he's right there. He's laying down. Just thought I'd let you guys know. That guy, he said that dude was wearing all tactical gear, like all tactical gear, and thought that he also saw him wearing a black tactical helmet. And he was pretty sure that the dude was not carrying a Mauser 98 long rifle, much more like a AR, something shorter, 223, .556 round. And what's interesting is I think, okay, this is what I think. You guys remember hearing that like there were other shooters on other roofs? We're going to hear that too. She's going to play that. We're going to get to the 911 calls. But if there was another shooter, okay, I was talking about this with my wife, right? And I'm trying to remember how I said it. I always say it best the first time. I wish I could record myself and write it down and then re-say it, but here we are. If there was another shooter that fired a smaller round, if you guys remember during the prelim when they were talking about the ballistic test, right? Or the ballistics, and they measured the diameter of the base of the round that was recovered from Charlie's neck, okay? And it's not consistent with a 308. A 308 is 0.308, and it goes up to 0.40 something, okay? And it's in a range, all right? The round diameter of the one that they say they recovered from Charlie's neck is 0.286 to 0.301. No. So it's not even what they're saying it is. You take that into consideration with this gentleman saying that the round or the rifle that he thinks he saw the gentleman have on that roof was a smaller caliber rifle, a smaller rifle. But there's also these 911 calls that report multiple other shooters on other roofs, like the library. All right. I think, see, this is what's hard right now. It's like, so this gentleman swears he saw the dude fire the gun. We're going to listen to it in a second. He doesn't see a muzzle flash, but he swears he thinks the dude shot the gun on the roof, the guy that was on the roof, but he swears it was a smaller gun. And it's also not linked up to the right time to match the Losi Center roof video. There's like, but there is time missing from that surveillance video too. But he's going to get into it. Look, I'm trying to figure out the best way to like lay this out, because up to now, I've definitely been in the exploding mic camp of possible mode of killing Charlie Kirk, that it was the exploding mic. Only because this, like, you hear the big bang, you see no wound, the shirt moves violently in the weirdest way. It puffs up in the back when we see with the later videos, but it, like, for the first videos you see, it just like jumps up right here on the left side of his face. And at the same time, well, right before it jumps up on this side, his necklace snaps, breaks, and flies over his head and then swings around, and it dangles off the backside of his left shoulder. So, order of operations, you hear the gunshot, the explosion, the necklace breaks, the shirt moves. You never saw a wound yet. The shirt comes down, and then the wound appears. And to me, the wound would have had to have been the first thing in order for cavitation to have caused the expansion to break the necklace and make the shirt jump up. That's what other experts say, that people that are even still holding to the 30-06 or a different caliber round killing Charlie Kirk, they're saying, when I ask them, okay, then how do you explain the shirt and the necklace behavior happening first? They're like, well, I don't know how they explain how it happened first. They don't really deal with that. They just say it's possible. And I'm like, the necklace and the shirt, the necklace breaks, the shirt moves first, then you see the wound. They're saying that the bullet enters cavitation, causes the necklace to break and the shirt to move. But you see the wound after all those things. So, you know, now that we're focusing on other potential shooters and maybe a shooter from the Losi Center, but not a 30-06, I never abandoned the possibility that there were multiple modes of taking Charlie Kirk out that day. Much like JFK, that he was kind of like a fish in a barrel, right? They brought him in to Dealey Plaza, and there were multiple shooters from multiple angles, and then they all just fired when, I don't know, they synced their old school watches and they all fired at the exact same time, or roughly, because it's like boom, 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 boom. But that he wasn't going to be allowed out. He wasn't making it out of Dealey Plaza alive. And it also confuses investigation because the video doesn't match the official story. You watch the video. Do you remember? Back to the left, back to the left, right? When the Zapruder film was being analyzed and they're saying that Lee Harvey Oswald shot from the third, is it the third story? The third level of the book depository building. I'm trying to remember how many stories there were. I was there in 2024. We did a tour of it. Whatever. You know what window supposedly that Lee Harvey Oswald was at. So supposedly all the rounds came from that way, and you would have seen front and to the left, but you didn't. So the video doesn't match with the story that they're telling us of a lone gunman. And it confuses everything. It muddies everything. You just have to make sure you have the right doctor to do the medical examination and the autopsy report, which they did. And it's very similar here, right? We see the video that we see of Charlie Kirk doesn't match the official story. And they don't account for the anomalies that we see in the video. They don't even try to answer them. They just ignore them. They act like they're answering them, like Gary Melton and other people on the left, but they're not actually answering anything. So it's like, all right, he was shot with a 30-06. Why is his shirt and his necklace moving before the bullet gets there? And they just go, cavitation caused it all. No. Those things happen first. There is no wound, therefore no wound, therefore no bullet entry, therefore no force delivered inside, therefore no cavitation. No cavitation first, no necklace breaking, no shirt moving. They don't answer it. But anyway, I definitely think that there's still a possibility that he was shot from a different location or even the Losi Center, but not from Tyler Robinson with a different caliber round, but also that maybe the mic did still have an explosion on it. Not necessarily explosion to kill him, but to confuse the video and the audio, right? After Butler, they knew that people were going to be analyzing video footage filmed from that event. They were going to be analyzing the audio recordings from that event. They were going to try to make sure they muddy the water as much as possible. And so it's possible that they had many, and maybe he did get electrocuted too. Not enough to kill him, maybe enough to knock him out, right? That he wouldn't be able to get up if the bullet didn't hit him perfectly and take him out on impact. You know, a lot of this is just theory and speculation because we don't really have answers from the authorities. The answers that they give us just don't add up. The video that we have doesn't make sense with any one theory. Like there is like it makes as much sense as it can with what little information we have, you know? And so it's all of our best honest guesses and assumptions and hypotheses as to what it is we're looking at in the cause of Charlie's death. So I think it's very much possible that there was other shooters on multiple roofs based on the 911 calls. Sounds like there was, with different caliber rounds. And here's the other thing that's possible, ladies and gentlemen. How do we know those eyewitnesses calling in the 911 calls aren't federal agents meant to distract local police from the areas where the real shooter is getting away? Right? All of these people, unnamed, don't know who they are, called in and said, yeah, there's a guy on the roof firing a rifle, and he's wearing black, and he's on top of like the whatever building it was, the library or whatever. Either they really did see something and they're just good Samaritan citizens and they saw someone, they heard someone and they called it in, or they have agents that are calling in these fake 911 calls to divert police presence from any area where the real shooter is trying to get away, directing them all their time and energy to a live active shooter where there is no live active shooter. You know, hopefully we find out more as we go along. The other thing that I was hypothesizing with my wife, and I got chills in the car when I was thinking about it, if the person on the Losi Center roof didn't fire anything, or even if he did, but it wasn't the Mauser. No matter what, I don't think it's Tyler Robinson, whoever was on the Losi Center, right? If he didn't fire the Mauser, but they needed the Mauser to be the rifle that was linked to Tyler, the patsy, and the narrative that they were going to sell. He was going to need to jump off the roof and run in the direction and cross the street to give the police a hunch, a lead. They're Sherlock Holmes, you know, all their years of experience is going to lead them to the conclusion when they see that surveillance video, like, aha, look at the time. He climbed over the railing. He ran out there. We don't see him take the shot. We don't see a rifle. We don't hear the shot, but what else could it be? He ran out there. He's wearing all black. He lays down. The time, 12:23, 29 seconds. And then he gets up and runs at 12:23 and 30 seconds. That's right after the shot. That must be connected. We don't really have any evidence for that, but hey, we'll just say it's connected. He runs and jumps off, runs across the street. We must look over there. He must have dropped the rifle right over there. And it's almost like that video was created to plant the idea in the local law enforcement where to look for the Mauser. Who knows if they would have ever even fallen upon that little area in the woods over there by those houses to locate that rifle if that surveillance video never surfaced. If they never saw him jumping off, running and crossing the street, they probably never would have thought we should look over there for the rifle if he ditched it. Because there probably would have been 911 calls from citizens driving by going, there's a dude running down the street with a rifle in his hand. Can someone send the police over here? I don't remember any calls like that. So he must have ran over there and ditched it when it was most likely already planted or was about to be planted by, I don't know, maybe the FBI when they showed up on scene, possibly. All right, let's continue. I just wanted to get that out there for you guys.
Tactical gear, tactical gloves. You might think, I don't think we're talking winter gloves. Like I said, and somebody can tell me in the chat here, I think it was literally like 85 degrees in Utah. So I think if you found gloves, it's just relevant in general. Who's bringing, holding, and dropping gloves? And what were the other 6 items that were found?
They don't know.
Well, this individual told me that he spoke to students at the bus stop in front of a library, and he also described the gun. And he was able to do that because he happened to also be the only person who captured the gunman on Losi Center in a video as he began lying prone for the shot. You guys remember this video? It was the most widely spread video on that day, I believe, beyond the video of Charlie actually getting hit. I'm talking about the most widely spread video of the shooter allegedly on the rooftop. He's the first one to have circulated that.
All right, I'm going to jump to it so that we get to the video right here.
Get right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there?
Notice that, at least from the video perspective, he is set back on the roof, both this way and that way, to where this gentleman could only see the rifle when the dude was running out. Once the dude laid down, he couldn't see the rifle. I can't see the rifle. Can you see the rifle? You just see his head, shoulders, back, butt, and then legs. And it's like very hard to tell, but you could, almost looks like the Sphinx in Egypt from a distance. Like a little version.
Just saying. He just ran from
over there?
Where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in. And now he's right there. Just saying.
Just saying.
The person who recorded this footage is the person that I tracked down. It was not easy to track him down, but I've stayed in touch with him since, and he has never changed his description of.
And we're going to jump to the audio of the gentleman. I don't want to miss any of it. Here we go.
Take a listen.
About 5 seconds after I stopped recording is when that person fired. And I saw and heard everything but a muzzle flash. So I didn't see a flash come from the edge of his gun, as you can see.
I saw and heard everything except for a muzzle flash. So I didn't see a flash come from the edge of the gun. Okay. as you can see in the video. So he's saying what you can see in the video is what I could see, which makes sense, right? Because when you hold up a phone, you're looking at the screen on the phone. It's very hard for you to make sure you're filming what you want to filming if you're trying to actually look with your eyes at the thing instead of the screen. So he's like looking at his phone, viewing the dude on the roof. And so he couldn't see the gun or the muzzle flash, but he heard everything. All right.
In the video, I couldn't see the gun at the time. It was just the head and shoulders on the roof.
Like what we saw.
But we felt like the little concussive impact from the shot going off. I thought it sounded like a sharp muzzle report. It sounded more like an AR than a large bore hunting rifle, but of course I've never heard a gunfire, around buildings like that. I'm always outside in the desert or something like that. So yes.
In your video, you say that you witnessed him running, and the feds report say that he dropped onto that Losey Center roof at 12:15. So where did you see him running? Was it right that he like instantly run and dive into the shot, or did you see him run and then started recording after he ran?
Yeah, so
all right, and then he explains like when he was recording it, and then he gets up and runs away. Let's see. I want to get to the part where she talks about the roof. How much does she? Oh, she plays more of it. All right. I don't know. Did you guys see this today? Did you guys already listen to Candace? I don't know if I want to make you guys sit through it twice in one day, or if I could hop to the next point of what I wanted to point out. You did cheesy sales. Yes, you guys already did. I did. Yes, you did. Okay, cool. All right. So I don't need to rehash it. So let's hop to the part where, wait, what is she saying here? I forget.
6 feet up, down, making
Oh yeah, that he was doing tactical movements from when he ran out. All right, this is the part right here.
He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black.
Oh wait, that's actually the 911 call. We want this 911 call.
Is on top of the building on the far north side, just east of the library, wearing jeans, black shirt, black vest. Just advising, there is another report. Gunshots heard near the library at UVU. They're trying to lock the library down now, still gathering.
She's saying they just got another report of shots fired at UVU library.
Spoke to a student, said that the shooter is on top of the building on the far north side, maybe the CS building, or just east of the library. He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle.
What happened there? What are we supposed to make of that? Why did we just ignore all of this? And we can show you on the map here how far the library is from the Losey Center. And again, her demeanor makes me uncomfortable.
Okay, so they're saying this is the library way over here. Okay. This is Charlie's spot. Here is the Losey Center shooting location here. I swear on my screen, you guys, my pink pointer is massive. It is massive. I'm sorry it's so small on yours, but like if I hold it over this, you guys can hopefully see it. This is the library. Okay. And I'm going to go slowly. Here is the Losey Center. And there's the corner. All right. What I can also do.
Why she's testifying. When you say you just don't.
But I don't necessarily want to mess up the stream. And a lot of times when I do this, it messes it up. But we'll see. Because I think it's important to see if there actually is even a line of sight from that location. Let's see. Map projects. Nope. Get out of here. I'll just type it in. Hold on. UVU. All right. Now, hopefully. All right. Let's keep our fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, that it doesn't mess everything up. All right. It looks like it didn't. All right. This will be easier, I think, for you guys to see it. And my pointer, it'll be bigger. All right. So Charlie was here. All right. I could zoom in. I'll try to go slow so that no one gets any motion sickness. Charlie was right here. Okay. He wasn't dead center. He was off a little bit to the right. Here is the supposed shooting location. All right. The gentleman that was filming was right here. In fact, let's go to 2D. Okay. Charlie was here, right there. Here's the Hall of Flags. Okay. This is where that copper was standing and up there where it was blocked off with the security guard. All right. It's the shooting location is supposedly this top corner one right here. Where that gentleman was walking, he was walking this way. See these gray half circles here and here? Hopefully you guys can see this. He's walking this way and he's filming this corner. Okay. The stairs are over here. He gets out, comes here, jumps over, and supposedly runs out here to that corner. Now, the library is really far. Here. This is the library. And that's what makes me think it is a distraction, because that is a long way and it doesn't look like there's a line of sight to Charlie. Okay. Because here's Charlie. You got all these buildings and then you have a drop down there. Right. So let's see if it keeps going. Hold on. Let's let it spin slowly. And I'm going to get a better angle. Boom. Okay. Here's Charlie here. The library's way over here. That's pretty far. It is a taller building. Let me see. Let's let it spin a little bit more and see. That doesn't get a good enough angle. All right. But like I said, the stairs there, it's way over there. So that's why I think that it was a distraction, right? Because she's saying this is the library over here. Losi Center way down here. All right, let's continue.
Don't remember something on that day. I don't buy it. Everybody had the adrenaline rushing through them. This is going to be the biggest manhunt plausibly in the history of the United States. And you're telling me you just don't remember what happened thereafter. You weren't paying attention when you asked the FBI. Did you ask the FBI to no longer test those items? Or is that what the FBI is telling you that you have been?
Now, let's go to Tyler Robinson, day one of the preliminary hearing. And let's hear the cross-examination of Officer Bagley by Catherine Nestor. I can't remember the building where they found this unspent round. It was a fully intact. That means it has the casing and the bullet jacket inside still. Unfired round. They found it on a different building. And it makes sense why. I don't know why the defense should hone in on this extra round on this other building and hone in on all of the 911 calls saying other shooters on other buildings. Because at least what it does is it pokes holes in probable cause that there's other potential shooters that they didn't investigate. And if they just want to wait till the trial, it definitely, would bring reasonable doubt in during the trial, that it's reasonable to believe that all of these other people in the 911 calls saying they saw a shooter and heard gunshots on this other roof. And then we now know that they found this round somewhere else and they didn't even investigate it. They didn't check it for prints, DNA. Well, it's because it's a 223 or a 556. It's not a 30-06. It's also on a different roof. Same with that one. That's a different roof. And supposedly the rifle is not like a massive long gun rifle. And so it doesn't fit the official narrative. So the prosecution leaves it out. But I thought that would be a great opportunity for the defense to use to, bring up questions that maybe, they didn't investigate. I don't know if they're waiting for the trial to do that. Oh, wait, I have it on too fast. Let me put it back to normal speed. I was going through it.
All right. While you were on the roof, did you encounter any spent casings?
As a matter of fact, no, that's why when I saw the prone position where the person would be laying down a sniper, being around guns and snipers all the time, I was looking for a spent shell casing. I couldn't see one. I was looking over the edge, looking all over the place, making sure the gravel wasn't disturbed, and I couldn't find a shell casing at that moment.
And that would be the reason you would be looking for that was because some types of guns, when they shoot, eject a casing automatically, right? Some
Yes.
do, some don't,
Yes.
right? And then you also didn't find any unshot bullets.
No.
Okay. Are you aware of there being a bullet found on another roof?
I'm not aware.
Vicinity? Were you aware of another bullet being found on the scene, not on the roof of the Losi building?
I know.
All right, your body cam footage that I
That's right. It's when so that's what she's talking about. She really drives it in with what's his name when she cross-examines Hull. But you know what? I don't remember if that's the end of day. Oh, that's going to be the beginning of day 2. And I don't have that pulled up or timestamped. So, but let's go over here because, all right, cool. My stream didn't get messed up. I'm pretty sure. Let me back up. I'm pretty sure. Remember, Charlie's over here. The Losi Center shooting positions here. I'm pretty sure they found that round on one of these buildings over here or here. I just can't remember which one. And I didn't know that she didn't cross Bagley about it. She just brings it up with Bagley, but she drives it home with Detective Investigator Hull, which I could bring up another time, but I'm not going to make you guys sit through it while I try to find it right now. But what it does bring up is questions on why would they not want to investigate? You know, why would they not want, especially early on, you know, like early on? And remember, Kash Patel didn't have any answers, like didn't have any leads. Who is it? They don't know. So they should want to hunt down all possible leads and any evidence that they find. And you shouldn't like rule out something just because. You should do your due diligence and just be sure. But a lot of that didn't happen in this case. Hopefully the judge sees that. Hopefully the defense can continue to point that out if it does go to trial to at least bring enough in for reasonable doubt. Okay, that's what I wanted to point out about the unspent round that was found. The other shooters on the 911 calls on the other roofs and the, you know, the video that dude filmed. That it doesn't match up with the time of the surveillance video of the Losi Center roof. So these are just all reasonable questions as to why didn't they investigate these now. And that was something I added to the show. That's not part of everything else that we're doing today. And so let me go through which ones will be the best to jump to next, because that was about the investigation in the trial. And the rest we're going to be looking at is kind of our normal routine. We're going to be looking at these morons lying as they do. Liars be lying every day. All right. Let me go to the first one. All right. This is another thing that I found. Let's see. How can I share? Oh, I exited out. I need to add it to the screen. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. There it is. All right. Here it is. All right. I doubt you could see it, but the reason why I have it pulled up this way is because when I click on this, it doesn't show me the thumbnail. All right. And it says Charlie Kirk versus 25 Gen Z students. All right. Now, this is the original. Do you guys remember when Charlie Kirk met with the 25 chapter leads at the Chapter Leadership Summit 2025? You can see the tags on their lanyards, CLS. This is CLS 2025 last summer. All right. And it's titled, Am I anti-Semitic. And it was Charlie that wrote that. Okay. 25 Gen Z students plus Charlie Kirk discuss Israel, Netanyahu, Gaza, and AIPAC. Well, what's weird is that's still there, but this one just popped up and they renamed it Charlie Kirk versus 25 Gen Z students, which I think is terribly, terribly misleading because he's not against his own chapter head leads.
People were becoming more.
He's not versus them. He went there with Andrew Colvett to kind of probe and gauge what the sentiment is with the youth about these issues. And that's why I did the poll last night that I did. I said, what were the main issues of discussion within like CLS 2025 and these Gen Z TPUSA chapter leads last year? And it was Israel, you guys. I know that there were other things, right, with other parts of youth in the country. But for these students, especially after watching Dave Smith destroy Josh Hammer, watching Charlie Kirk have Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson on at Student Action Summit, and then he sits down with these students. The issue was Mossad. The issue was Jeffy Epi. The issue was Intel, but it was Israel. All right. Andrew Colvett, just so you guys know, TPUSA has like 10, maybe even more different like social media accounts, right? They have TPUSA, they have Turning Point USA, they have Turning Point Action, they have the Charlie Kirk Show, they have Real America's Voice, they have, what else do they have? This just on YouTube. Then they have Andrew Colvett. He's got 2 different channels. Then they have their Instagram. And on Instagram, on each social media, like Instagram, X, everything I mentioned for YouTube, they have all those different like profiles and channels for each one of those as well. So in total, they have like 30 different accounts, maybe even more across all. And then I forgot, they also have, you know, the education, Turning Point Education. They hide different videos in different places on these different channels and different profiles. And so I had somebody message me. They sent me this one, the new one, with this new title. And I was like, what the heck? That's not the title. I did a full breakdown of this video, I don't know, a couple months ago. And I know exactly how long it is. I know what the title is, and I showed it to you. Let me actually show you how long this video is. Let me pull it up. So this video in length is 22 minutes and 64 seconds. All right. This video is 22 minutes and 17 seconds. And they added all of this in the beginning. Okay. And this goes for, let's see, 17 seconds. Nope. It goes for 31 seconds. So there's actually about a minute missing off. Oh, wait, I didn't even show you guys. My bad. Oh, I'm so sorry. This one. So this one is 22 minutes and 17 seconds. And with all the ads that they had, right, it doesn't even start with the students until 31 seconds. All right. So that means there's about a minute missing from the original. If we did the math exactly, we'd have to do 2246 minus 2217 and then take away 30 from whatever that's remaining to determine how much they edited from the original video to make this video. All right. And I haven't had time to watch it all the way through, but I'll tell you this much, I will. And what I'm pretty sure they did is there's multiple times, okay, where Charlie is in full agreement with the youth. He titled it, "Am I Anti-Semitic?" because Charlie was being attacked. He was being labeled an anti-Semite. He was being attacked for his views, man, for having Tucker on, for having Dave Smith destroy Josh Hammer, for talking about Mossad, for talking about Jeffy Epi. What you see in the original, and if you guys haven't seen it, maybe we'll watch it again sometime. It's more apparent that Andrew is some sort of a handler on Charlie in this video with Charlie, because Charlie is speaking and answering and asking with the students, and they're doing great. And then like Andrew chimes in and he like, well, I mean, and he kind of brings it back. A couple things to note about this video. Let me show you. Let me go back to the original. Let me find the kid in the hat. Where is he? Right here. In fact, if we let him talk, this guy, let's hear him talk for a second.
The conflict a little bit.
It was the State Department's stated goal that we were working on negotiations with Iran. You can say they wouldn't have panned out. You can say that maybe they were imminently about to collapse, but we were still in active negotiation. And yet Israel launches Operation Rising Lion to go in and strike Iran while we are mid-negotiation.
How many of you guys would say you think Israel got us into that conflict? You would say yes. You would not say so much?
I think we were willing to join that.
Now, let me go back to the next part where the dude in the Arkansas hat starts talking, because what is very interesting, and I'll pull up him on either X or it's on my Instagram. I'll let it play, and then I'll find this kid on my X or Instagram so that I can remind you who the kid is in the Arkansas hat. He is important. You will remember when I find it. All right. So let me hit play on this. Let me get rid of this. No, here we go.
Thank you.
I find prophecy as policy generally to be theologically problematic. I mean, there's plenty of things that the Bible says that have been done throughout parts of history that certainly a nation state doing today we would see as a bit of a problem. When it comes to sending these, what you said, $300 billion
19, yeah, just with the inflation, yeah,
to any foreign country, all I can think about is across our own southern border, we have an actual military in the form of the cartel that kill thousands of people, and that's leaving out the hundreds of thousands of Americans that have died to drug overdoses due to drugs that have come across our southern border. And it's insulting that that money goes anywhere else because we have such a huge problem here.
Yeah, I want to kind of flip this word association game around just slightly because we haven't done it yet. When I bring up Gaza, Gazan,
and he does this a lot, but here I want to show you guys something. Well, first, hold on. Let me find it before I share the screen. All right. His name is, all right, here we go. His name is Dino Fantagrossi. Okay. And Dino Fantagrossi is the kid that was in that Arkansas with the boar on his hat at the chapter lead summit talking with Charlie. He's also the one, I wonder if he posted it on here. I don't know. I didn't find him on X. I'd have to find out where he posted it. Maybe one of you guys will know once I mention it. And maybe somebody can throw a super chat in so I'll be able to see it, because by the time I get back to the live chat, I probably won't be able to see it. All right. But I'll just go ahead and tell you guys. Dino Fantagrossi is the chapter leader that wrote the letter kind of saying like he was done with TPUSA and he didn't approve with the direction it was going and he was dissatisfied, and I forget specifically, but then like, I don't know, a couple weeks later, he like recanted. And I think he recanted because he was forced to, or he was afraid, because let me see if I can pull up. Let's see. I wrote him back in March 22nd. All right, here, I can share this actually. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's going to be small. So I wrote him back in March 22nd, 2026. And I said, hi, my name is Matthew McKim. I am a United States Marine Corps veteran, Christian, true American first, and real follower and supporter of Charlie Kirk for years before his tragic assassination. I have a modest yet very consistent and steadily growing YouTube channel called The Black Line Brief. It would be an honor if you would consider coming on my show where we could talk in more detail regarding your experiences with TPUSA, the focus group you were a part of with Charlie Kirk and Andrew Colvett, where you really stood out to me amongst your peers, and we can answer questions to my community. And if it's okay with you, I could ask you some questions as well. I do believe Charlie Kirk was assassinated, but not by Tyler Robinson, and I do not believe Erika Kirk and TPUSA is honoring Charlie Kirk and his legacy. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing back from you. God bless. Because I sent that before the retraction or recant, and I thought that he was going to be like, I don't know, there's a new gentleman on X. His name is Artifacts. He was one of Charlie Kirk's, or if not it was Charlie Kirk's favorite cameraman for like years. He had like worked with Turning Point for years. And kind of like Matthew Tuzzaroni, but Matthew Tuzzaroni was Turning Point Action. He was on the political arm, of the Turning Point affiliates, right? Artifacts was part of Turning Point USA. And he did say he's filmed a couple of the Turning Point Action events, but mainly he was filming Charlie at these campus events. And he was supposedly Charlie Kirk's favorite cameraman. And when people that were part of Turning Point come out and start, I don't know, telling the truth about their experiences, their concerns about Tyler Boyer, Blake Neff, Andrew Colvett, Erika Kirk, what it was like when Charlie was alive, the direction things were going, and then what happened after the fact. I think it's important to reach out these individuals and give them a voice, give them a platform, a place where they can share it with more people. And so when I reached out to, what was his name? Dino Fentagrassi. At the time, I really thought he was going to be the next whistleblower, kind of like Aubrey Leish. Yeah. Was the other big one? It was mainly Aubrey Leish. And then I think Matthew Tuzzaroni was the next big one until Artifacts just came out. And so I'd reached out to Dino. But then I think it was like a couple weeks later, he was, I think, forced to write like a recant. If you guys find that recant letter on X, I don't know that Dino has an X account. I wasn't able to find it, but maybe you guys can email it to me and we can read the two different letters if they're even still out there. One was him admonishing like Turning Point, and the next was saying, just kidding, never mind, nothing to see here. And I can only imagine that that was due to either fear, right? Like threats, or I don't know, something else. But I find it very, very weird that Turning Point is taking videos that Charlie Kirk had filmed when he was alive, and they are editing major parts out and then reposting them with totally different titles, which give you a totally different impression as to what the context of the video is about. Okay. And in line with that, let me see where, hold on, let me go to my history real quick. History. I'm not going to share it until I can pull it up and show it to you guys. Here we go. Share. And it's going to be hard to see on this screen. I'm going to try to do my best. All right. This video right here, if you were to look this video up, Charlie Kirk's take on daylight savings time, this is not a real photo of Charlie Kirk. It is an AI photo that they created of a real photo of Charlie Kirk. They have recreated a photo of Charlie Kirk. They are making a dead man do an image that he never did before in his life. He's never sat in that chair with that white shirt and that jacket, looking at his time and putting it on, because I don't know if you guys know what's happening today, like Congress or whatever. They're trying to take away daylight savings or make it to where it's always daylight savings or whatever the opposite of whatever is. It's just going to stay light forever and mess up our circadian rhythm and make us exhausted and tired and stressed, and hopefully make us spend more because it'll be light out longer. And I don't know. They're trying to ruin us. But on that episode, Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff are talking about it. It's not even worth watching. They don't end up playing anything about Charlie. I just thought it was interesting. Erika Kirk, remember when she sat in Charlie's chair just days after the assassination, promised us that they weren't going to misuse Charlie's social media accounts, right? You know, we're not going to be like tweeting from Charlie. That would be gross. That would be morbid. That would be inappropriate. Now they are. They're like retweeting. They're liking things on behalf of Charlie, posting things, saying things that Charlie wouldn't say, making Charlie like Andrew Colvett's posts to boost them, because Charlie has a much bigger following than Andrew will ever have. Okay. And now they're taking old photos of Charlie, throwing it into AI, and making Charlie do a different pose for the thumbnail. And I just find that extremely gross, in my opinion. You know, in my opinion, I find that extremely gross. Let me get to a couple of these real quick. Ivana Elson. I'm so bad. Ivana Elson. Just wanted to say thank you for all you are doing. Keep up the great work. Shout out to Mystic as well. What a gem you have here. Christ is King. Thank you so much. Yes. Mystic is the OG mod. She's been here forever and she's amazing. All the other mods are great too. We got Jim Carey, Renita, Dulcinea, Bree, but she's been busy. Glenn Coco, but she's been busy. MRK. I haven't seen MRK in a while. Hopefully she's doing good. Vasiliki. Dulcinea member for 4 months. Vasiliki says computer side building, Far East Side. Well, I don't know that I know which way. I'd have to pull up Google Earth again. Oh, the computer side building is where they found the unspent cartridge. Okay, I'll have to look at that. They're not labeled on Google Earth. They don't have like the tags on top on the view looking down. So I know what certain buildings are, like Losi Center, Hall of Flags, Sorensen. But I'd have to do a little bit more before I could even like research before I can show you and point it out, unless somebody could send me an already labeled map and it has the buildings labeled. Then you can email it to me and I can just pull it up and then we can look at it where that was. We got Olgatronic. I think I clocked something. I posted it to your ex. All right. You posted it to my ex? What do you mean? You posted it to my ex. How do you post it to my ex? Wait, Olgatronic, what's your name on X though? Is your name Olgatronic on X? How am I going to know what it is? Like, am I going to get a notification? X account. Yeah, no, I get that, but it's OK Gatronic. You posted it on my X account or your X account? I can see you're quick on the response in the live chat. I'll send it. It has trees and features. Oh, that's a different one. Maps belong on a wall. I added to your account on my X. Okay. We'll see. I'll go to my profile. How do you add something to my X? I see all the videos I posted. I see artifacts, memoriam. I don't see OK Katronic. How could you post it on my X? That's what I'm confused what you mean right now. Maybe is it priorities? Furman, no. Maybe it's under mentions. BB, no. I swear I'm looking, Ogatronic. I don't know where you put it. You didn't send it in a message. You didn't send it. It's not, I didn't get a notification. So I'm at a loss. Let me hop back over here to see if you answered. Let me read this real quick. Veritacity. Outrage. TPUSA is posthumously. Did I say that right? Posthumously kosherizing Charlie's videos. Yeah, it's gross. And I guarantee it's parts where like Charlie made facial expressions when these kids were making solid points about Israel, about Gaza, about everything. And he was like, he was like, yeah, or he would respond really quick little statements. And there's about a minute of that video. The original video is missing. That's just shady. Let me go back to the regular chat to see Olgatronic. It's in where though? Under comments. Okay. What post did you reply to though? Like you have to tell me the specific post. Okay. Oh, posted under your last post with your video. There we go. Look at us. Look at us getting somewhere. Okay. So I need to go to my profile. My last video that I just posted. Olgatronic, there you are. All right. Look at us. We did it. We cracked the case. All right. Let me hit share. All right. First of all, did you guys like the video that my brother-in-law made? You guys want to see it? I haven't seen it. He made these and I posted them. Can we watch it real quick? I haven't seen it yet. Let's get into the whole thing about the video. What in the heck, you guys? We're going to look at Benny Johnson. Candace did a good job bringing him up. I got some things to show about Benny Johnson tonight that are going to be things that he said on the first day, the day after. I'd have to look at the date, but it was way back in September. What he was claiming about the assassination and who likely was involved is super interesting. All right. And so we're going to get into that. So funny. I don't ever watch myself back. So it's kind of funny seeing him make these clips and I'm seeing like parts of my video for the first time. All right. Now let's watch this together. Stop. Let me back it up and I won't talk from the beginning. And let me make my face again. All right. We're going to play it and then I'll play the video that's next to it. And then we'll talk about what you think you found. All right. Let's go.
Those seizures, was it 9? Does that ring a bell?
I don't remember.
Whatever was seized was sent to the FBI lab for processing.
Yes.
And along with some information that the suspect may have shed some of these items as he fled, correct?
Yes.
Was the decision at some time made, and you were requesting that both DNA and other type of analysis get done?
Yes.
At some point, did you decide to pull the plug on that?
At the time when it was already sent, we didn't have more information as far as whether or not the evidence that were collected there were probative.
But eventually you communicated to the lab that those items were not in fact connected with the case and there was no need to do further testing.
I don't remember communicating that.
Oh, we played this. We played this from Candace's show in the beginning. Did you not see that part? Is it the next one?
Well, the student said that the shooter is on top of the building on the far north side, maybe the CS building. It's east of the library. He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black.
We played that too, Olgatronic. How about you tell me what you think you found? Because we played that in the beginning. I played Candace's clip of both of those. What did you think? No, oh, sorry. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. No, Matt, it's a voice compare. All right. I'll play them. I'll let them both play. A voice compare.
Long rifle.
Sorry, did you view library?
Well, the student said that the shooter is on top of the building on the far north side, maybe the CS building is east of the library.
Oh, you think?
Okay, if that's in the notes of the FBI or the ATF, would that be inconsistent with what you know?
No.
Okay, I mention it because some of the reports, the lab reports, have those items listed.
Okay.
I just want to be clear that those items eventually you determined were not related to this case. Would that be fair?
Yeah, that would be fair.
Similar. You think it's the same person? You think the dispatcher taking that call is this SBI detective? You think it's her? It'd be weird. I mean, dispatch is its own place, you know? We'd even have to find, I know that day, if you remember Baron Coleman, I don't know, maybe he did cover this today. You guys were watching Baron. I didn't get to watch him. I have to prep for the show. I guess he played the 911 calls. Someone had said that. There were different dispatch centers getting calls because there was an influx of calls, and different dispatch centers in different places in Utah were getting these calls and relaying them to the police and people at the scene on the ground. So it'd be really weird for an SBI detective to be in a dispatch center. I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. I can definitely. So I have a pretty good ear. I will spend more time off screen later listening to the different ones, and I'll listen to more of her from this cross-examination where she talks a lot, and then I'll go back to the different 911 calls, and then we can talk about it mañana. Thank you for sending in that my way. All right. Now let's get to the next thing here. All right. Let me get some of these off of here. All right. Here we have Blake Neff and Andrew Colvett today interviewing Andy NGO. I don't know if that's his last name, but I don't know. I don't know if it's his name or not, but Andy is his first name. Let's just listen to it.
But Andy, you were about to say something right before we hit the break.
Yeah, before the break, you brought up that there's been a misdirection, misleading by certain conspiracy theorists and liars in the influencer space, and it's more consequential than even the effects on the ongoing pretrial hearings and the future trial against Tyler Robinson. That's very important. But another thing people have to consider is that, you know, there's a finite number of hours that that individuals have to listen to content and watch podcasts.
Okay, so Vasiliki, I just got your email. So what's interesting, it did say the CS building, which is the computer science building. It's also, that's what you said, the computer science building, also referred to as the CS building or science building at Utah Valley University, mentioned in the clip of Agent Brian Davis's testimony or related questioning, and they were talking about it as well, where it was specified that no, she wasn't talking about that, but the other guys were, that the specific caliber was a .223 unfired round was recovered on the roof of the computer science building on the far east side. Look at this link at 38 minutes. Let's see. Wait, 0.38 minutes. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me go to 0. Wait, you mean 0.38 seconds? I think you mean seconds, because this video is only 2 minutes and 57 seconds long. Yeah, it says in your email, it says, look at this link at 0.38 minutes. But all right, I'm pretty sure you mean seconds. And let's take a listen to Officer Davis's testimony.
I believe it was found on the computer science building on the roof, on the far east side of the roof of the building itself.
How do you know that it was found there?
I reviewed the agent's report that found that, documented it, and collected it.
What agent was that?
It was Agent Ben Schneider with SBI.
Are you aware of where the computer science building is on campus?
Yes, yes.
Can you explain generally where that is located?
Yeah, from where the LOSI building is, it's a building directly kind of south and east of there.
South and east. All right. Well, let's see if we can figure it out. Real-time investigation. This is decentralized intelligence agency. All of us. All right. All right. Let me make sure it's on the screen. That it is. All right. Let's see where it says north, south, east, west. This says the compass showing heading tilt. Where would it show? So if, okay, so wait. Dang it. What the heck? Sorry, hold on, guys. When I hit the, hopefully that didn't mess up the stream. All right, cool. When I hit the stinking little, what is going on? I can't touch the map. All right, I'm going to have to exit this and do a new one. That's weird. Wait, what the heck is going on with my mouse? Wait, something really weird is happening right now. Hold on, let me check something. Time to buy a new mouse. Time to buy a new mouse. What the heck? Okay, something really trippy is going on, and I don't want to mess with anything. It's not letting, did you guys hear that clicking? All I'm doing is trying to look up the Google Earth, and it wasn't letting me. It's not letting me click on the search bar. It's not letting me type anything in. I'm trying to type in UVU, and it's just dinging. It's going tick, tick, tick. It's not letting me do anything. I'll try one last time. Nope. Why? Nope. That is so strange. All right. I don't want to waste too much time doing this, you guys. It's not letting me do it. So I don't want to have you guys just staring at my face the whole time. Let's go back to the video that I was showing. Let's continue on. What the heck? Hold on. I think I did something to my mouse. I think I like double clicked it too many times or something. Let me unplug it real quick. All right. Now let's see. That might have done it. No, it didn't. So weird. What the frick did I do? That sucks. Hopefully it's going to let me add things to the screen. This is so weird. Oh my gosh, dude. You know what I might have to do is use my, why isn't it letting me touch anything? This sucks. It's not even letting me share the screen. Hold on. Talk about frustrating. What the heck? Let me hit refresh. Don't go anywhere. There we go. All right, cool. I don't know. That was weird. Maybe they're watching, maybe they're not. I don't freaking know. That's strange. I'm not going to go back to Google Earth. That was annoying. It wasn't letting me click on it. It wasn't letting me add the next video to the screen. We lost about 20 something people in the frustration. All right.
Episodes. These people, these conspiracy theorists, is putting out rubbish and lies out there, whilst on the other side, you know what? Who the left has as influencers? People like Hassan Piker calling for the streets to run red with the blood of their enemies. They have legions.
All right. So I don't want to listen to this guy too long. All I really wanted to do was show you that they are continually pushing the crazy left, which I know that there are crazy leftists. I know that there's violent ones. But every time that they can, especially recently, they're trying to reinforce that the real threat are these crazy radical leftists that want the right dead, you know? So they're going to have their confirmation bias and find journalists and authors to come on their show and tell, pretty much their audience what they want to tell their audience. So I find them to be annoying, but it looks like somebody sent me a map. It's so small. You know how small that is? Let's see. When I zoom in too, it makes all the letters invisible. I can't read that map. I appreciate you, Vasiliki. Thank you for sending it to me. I can't see it. It's a small image, and when I click on the map, it's unlegible. All right, let's go to the next thing that I have because we need to move along. Actually, yeah, let's start here. All right.
Wrong. And you wound up letting the real murderer go. How could you ever discover that? If no matter what evidence is presented to you, you assume that evidence is fake. You're assuming what you're trying to prove, if that's your attitude about things. Number 14, should you accuse people of murder without adequate evidence? Number 15, why does the Bible require at least 2 witnesses for a conviction? Number 16, why does God threaten to kill those who abuse widows and orphans? That's Exodus 22:22, by the way. Number 17, why does Deuteronomy 19 prescribe the death penalty for those who falsely accuse someone of murder? I know this is Old Testament law. It doesn't apply today. It applied just to ancient Israel. But God wanted to protect innocent people so much that he would give the death penalty to a person who falsely committed somebody else of murder. He would give the death penalty to them. Oh, you're going to falsely accuse someone of murder? We're going to kill you. Can't have that. You can't have these false accusations. Number 18, why do we have biblical evidence of demonic activity since the murder, since 9/10? First of all, we had a murderer.
Here he goes.
Then we've had lies, accusations, and slander seeking to steal, kill, and destroy.
So Frank Turek has Tourette's, evidence Tourette's, and he's also on like replay where he just repeats the same things over and over and over again. You know how you know that a psyop is happening is when they are just repeating the same things over and over again because it's proven. I mean, it's a psychological tactic that it eventually takes hold in your brain and it gets in there. So yeah. And look, I really appreciate your guys' tips. If you guys email them to me, because I plan the shows ahead, that we can at times be able to add them in, but also I can look at them and add them into like the next show and stuff like that, or else I get totally derailed and it's going to be hard for me to stay on track. All right.
That's exactly what Jesus and the apostles call Satan. They call him a murderer
who Satan
uses lies, accusations, and slander.
That's us.
Because he's seeking to steal, kill, and destroy.
and Candace, we're all evil.
People don't believe in the demonic, but how could it be more obvious that
dude, we should make a compilation tape of Frank Turek over the last 10 months. He literally says the same thing over and over and over and over again. He says that exact same thing. How could people not believe in the demonic? It's so obvious. We had a murder. Now we have lies, slander, and accusations. You just like, I don't know. It's like they can't even hide that they're running a psyop on us. Like when they all came out last week and this week, and they were like, overwhelming, overwhelming, overwhelming. It's not overwhelming.
in this case? We've had a murder, and all we've had since then pretty much is lies, accusations, and slander, seeking to steal, kill, and destroy.
There he is.
Yes, there is a spiritual component to this. Yes, this is spiritual warfare, as the husband who wrote in suggested.
The husband who wrote in. The husband is Frank. Wait till he gets to the end. I finished watching this today, and that's why I chose to play the rest of it that we didn't finish, because it's hilarious. Because I'm pretty sure now, I was like guessing and joking, but I'm pretty sure it's Frank that wrote in.
Now, you don't have to accuse your wife to be involved in this, but maybe make...
You don't accuse your wife, Frank. What did she ever do? She just wants the truth, Frank. You're trying to cover the truth up. Don't give her a hard time. Go look in the mirror. Take off those tactical glasses. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not a real man. You know, get on your knees and repent. Ask for forgiveness, and then go apologize to your wife and tell her that you thank her for helping you see the light.
Her aware that this is indeed going on. It's quite obvious. Because all of the biblical prohibitions against doing what Candace and others are doing are being ignored.
That's me.
About witnesses. About false accusations.
No, there's got to be 2 witnesses. Why can't you 2 or more witnesses to be able to have a claim or something like that? He says, okay, how many witnesses do they have about Tyler Robinson? How many witnesses? 1. One very unbelievable, very dishonest, very confused, psychologically troubled man, boy, child, furry thing. And it's like everything that you say implicates Tyler literally actually implicates Lance. And they just gloss over that. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Operation Frankfurter. Yes. Where's the wieners? Where's the hot dogs? The bratwurst. Brigitte Macron's got them.
About abusing widows and orphans.
Oh, we're abusing.
About accusing someone falsely of a crime. In fact, number 19, why does the Bible warn against gossip? Because people are destroyed by it.
How do they not realize that they've accused Tyler before he's been proven to be guilty? Like, that's literally what you're saying we're doing. We're not, though. And that's the other thing that I'm pissed. I'm over on X, right? And people are like calling out Candace. They're like, how could she say that Erika Kirk is a murderer? Candace never said that. She never called Erika Kirk a murderer. She said a lot of the things she said and done are very suspicious, and that a true grieving widow that had nothing to do with this in any way, shape, or form wouldn't be acting that way. And that just makes us look at her more. And we just have always said, like, we just have questions. Like, we don't believe her. We don't believe Andrew. We think something's going on. It looks like you guys are hiding things. It looks like you're covering things up. It looks like you're changing his legacy, changing his organization. Why would you be doing that? Why didn't you endorse Massey? Why are you saying that Charlie's for regime change in Iran? Why are you saying he loves little hats and he loves little hat people more than ever? Why are you saying that when it's just blatantly not true? Why did you let Ben Shapiro come on AmFest when Charlie wasn't going to have him on? He didn't like him. That's what makes you look sus.
Number 20, what is the danger of following personalities rather than evidence? In fact, we talked about that in the podcast last week.
Wait, they're following Erika Kirk. That's a personality that she doesn't have any evidence.
Are you really following the evidence, or are you following a personality? If you're following a personality, it doesn't matter what the evidence is. If you're always going to side with the personality, and by the way, we're all fallen as personalities. The only true personality we ought to be following without question is Jesus. Everybody else is flawed.
Why are you following Erika?
We should test, or we should maybe put it another way. Ronald Reagan's famous phrase, we should trust but verify. Always verify.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to verify things that Andrew, Blake, Mikey, you, Brian, Erika, Jack, Hibbs, all the things that you guys have said, we just can't verify any of it. It just ends up coming out that you guys suck at lying. You just suck at it, Frank. Pack up, go home. It's just like you're in the grave already and you just have the shovel and you're just like, no, I'm not done. I'm going to get out of here eventually. And you just keep getting deeper. You're just digging the hole and you just keep getting deeper, Frank.
So there's a great danger in following personalities. They may blind you to the evidence. Don't follow me. Don't follow Candace. Don't follow other personalities out there.
Okay.
Without the evidence. Always check people by the evidence. By the way, I've noticed that one of the criticisms of me that has come up since last week that I didn't really notice was someone said that I was FaceTiming somebody for 9 hours from the time of the murder all the way till I got back to the hotel, because I was on Megyn Kelly's podcast a week or so after the murder. And I mentioned that I had the podcast, or I had the FaceTime on till I got back to the hotel.
You did, Frank. You know what most people don't do? Most people don't misremember and tell their story about an event that's so traumatic it should be just like burned into your brain. Most people don't need to create these videos weeks, months later saying, you know what? I know I said that, but the reason I said that is because here's my excuse. You did that with the drones when Brian Harple went on Sean Ryan and said no drones. He went on Sean Ryan in like October or something like that. You were out like a week after, 2 weeks after. You couldn't help yourself. You're like, I was there with Charlie. I'm like Charlie's dad. He said he's like a father. I was like a father to him. He was like a son to me. I'm his mentor, you know. We're walking around. I'm mentoring him. There's a 80-foot gorilla behind us, a security guard. You know, he just wanted to know how smart I was. And I just told him, you know, so I'm like his father. I'm his mentor. I'm also his teacher, but it's hard to teach someone that's smarter than you. But the only thing that exceeded his intellect was his humility. When we were arriving to UVU, I was in the seat with Charlie and we were looking at drone footage. And I was like, dang, Charlie, don't like all those roofs. There's too many roofs, Charlie. Look at all the people. There's a lot of people. I don't know. You trust your security team? Well, that's what he's implying, which is weird. He didn't say that, but he said everything else about the roofs and the people. And Charlie's like, supposedly Charlie looks at him and goes, welcome to the big leagues, Frank. Okay. And then he goes on Megyn Kelly and he's like, yeah, we had drones. I was looking at drone footage. Charlie and I were looking at drone footage. And then on October, Brian's like, Sean asks him, well, there's been conflicting stories. Other people are out there saying there was drone footage that day. But then we find out there was no drones. So Brian, were there any drones out there that day? No, we weren't allowed to have any drones. The UVU said no. And we just accept no in this line of work. I know we're supposed to keep people alive, but if somebody tells me no, he says, I can't break the law. And then he changes it. I can't break the rules. Okay. I can't just go break the rules. Yeah, you literally can. You have this like $1 million organization that like you pay a fine. It's not an arrestable offense. Pay a fine, get a slap on the wrist. I didn't know. Don't ask for permission, moron. Just ask for forgiveness, right? Or you just take the drone, take your happy butt off campus, take it off, and fly over the campus It has propellers. It's not stuck to the ground. Okay. And you just fly over the campus, and then you'd have a drone, and then you could have seen the dude on the Losi Center roof. Anyway, no drones. And then we come to find out months later in that Wolves and Finance cease and desist back and forth with TPUSA lawyers. And he's like, oh, we did have drones, but it was the media team. The media team had drones. So all these inconsistencies. Frank shouldn't need to change his story. Frank is like, I was doing CPR. I was praying in the back, doing CPR. And then we hear Brian. Brian's like, no, we didn't do CPR. Nobody did CPR. Frank was praying in the back. Nobody did CPR. Shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. That many discrepancies.
What I meant to say was the hospital. It would.
Why would you mean to say that? How could you? It's like you and Blake. Why do all these people have amnesia? Right? Yesterday, we listened to that phone call where Muppet Masher was asking Blake, so who'd you fly with when you got to UVU that day? Where'd you go? You didn't go to the restaurant recording the interview? No. Okay. Where'd you go? I don't know. Who were you with? I don't know. Wait, you're telling me you don't remember anything from that morning? You were like Sirhan in the hotel. You just became conscious at the UVU event. You transported there. What's the last thing you remember, Blake? Do you remember being on the plane? Do you remember waking up? Do you remember getting off the plane? Okay, he did say he remembers getting in the SUV, a different SUV, but then he doesn't remember who's in the SUV with him. And then somebody else on that X space was like, it was Phillips something Phillips. And he goes, oh, yeah, that's who it was. It's like, okay, you were in the car with one other person. What'd you guys go do? I don't know. We just went and parked somewhere, and we had to mark time. How do these people forget everything? It's like the worst day in the world for all of us. And these people can't remember a stinking detail about where they were, what they were doing. Now he's like, you know what it was? No, I thought I had my phone on for 9 hours when I got back to the hotel. Really? Hotels and hospitals, they both start with an H. They both have T's and L's in them. Okay, that's similar. Easily confused. Hotel, hospital, similar. And you go inside, they look the same. So I just thought the hotel was the hospital. Now he's like, what I really meant the hospital. That's what I meant.
Be impossible for me to be on FaceTime to the hotel. We didn't get to the hotel till like 8 or 9 hours after all that.
Yeah, no, duh, dude. That's what we were saying. We were telling you that. That's why we were like, Frank, that's not possible unless your son-in-law stayed on the FaceTime the whole time. Or son-in-law. I don't remember. I've heard different stories. That's the only way that would have been possible, is if homeboy stayed on the FaceTime when he was in your pocket, and he's just totally fine with looking at your right butt cheek for 9 hours, listening to what's going on in the background. Oh, maybe we should interview his son or son-in-law, because maybe then he could tell us the truth if the surgeon came out and with the softness of a brick said, he's dead. He's dead. Where's Erika? That's Frank's retelling, remember? He's like, and with the softness of a brick, he yelled, he's dead. He's dead. And then he asked, where's Erika? Where's Erika? Yeah, because that's what doctors do. They release confidential HIPAA information, medical information to the whole world, to everyone in the ER, in the or whatever, the waiting room, wherever they were. They're just like, yeah, none of you are next of kin, but I'll just tell you everything. He's dead. Maybe we should interview his son and find out, were you on the phone? How long were you on the phone? What'd you hear? Did you press screen record? I'm going to need that. Can you send that to us? Maybe Frank's son or son-in-law is on the side of Frank's wife. Maybe we need to reach out to them and be like, hey, you gotten issues with Frank? So do we. Come on over. We can help you. Blink twice if you need help. We'll get you out of there. Blake also stuttered a ton when asked how he left Orem. Yeah, I know. He doesn't remember anything. And he also thinks it's not even important. He's like, why would I remember? I'd never been to Utah before. Like, I don't notice things. Like, you don't just, in generality, is like, we got in the car and then we drove to UVU. We got in the car. We got gas. I got my favorite chubby boy snack that I get because I'm a chubby boy inside. I sat in the car. I ate it in 5 seconds. I had to clean myself off because I eat with my mouth open. Then I had to go to the bathroom. Then we went to Chick-fil-A. I'm just kidding. I don't think they went to Chick-fil-A, but yeah, they would remember some of these things, you know, and he's just like, and then Diligent was like, didn't the authorities question you? And he's like, no. Why would the authorities question me? And he's like, because you were a witness to the assassination. And he goes, no, I wasn't. I was a witness to Charlie's life. What? Freaking Blake, you're on camera. We see you. You're standing next to Mikey. You're there. Someone should show them the video footage that we have of VU, just to remind them, here you are. Here's Mikey. There's the Big Bang. There you go. Where do you go? We don't know. We do know you called your mom. You called your mommy. Can mommy have a kiss? Can mommy have a kiss, Blakey? Oh, Blakey, you come home. I missed you. All right. He said, a plane that was made available to us. Think it could have been an FBI plane. Yeah, Cash Money Patel pulling strings for his girlfriend. And yeah, he's like, hey, well, let's go. Let's go to Vegas, guys. And that's why he didn't want to say it. Yeah, who knows? He probably didn't want to say it for lots of reasons, actually, because he's shady. They all are. Shady. Let's get back to Frank Turkey.
I just misspoke. I said,
oh, how convenient.
I said hotel when I meant hospital.
Look at his face. Do you believe him? He was stuttering too. He just, I misspoke. I said hotel when I meant hospital. Okay, I was kidding when they're similar. Like, yes, they have H's. Yes, they have T's and L's. They don't sound the same. Your lips and tongue don't do the same thing when you say them out loud. Hotel. Hospital. I think if you would have said it out loud and knew you were wrong, you would have corrected yourself in the moment. It was only 9 months later when you made this video and everyone was like, that doesn't make sense, Frank. Then you're like, well, I must have just misspoke. People make accidents all the time. All the time. Nope. Just all of you make accidents all the time. All the time.
You may think I'm lying about that.
We do.
Look, I'm not. I have this condition known as 64.
Trust me, bro. I have this condition known as 64. I have selective memory. That's why my wife hates me. I never do what she asks. I just make stuff up. Frank, we get it. If you treat your wife the way you treat us, we get why she doesn't trust you, Frank. We understand why you were too much of a little boy to talk to her directly. You had to write an email to yourself and read it on your show. Pretend like someone even writes you. Nobody writes you that much of a letter. You wouldn't ever read someone's that much of an email. And it's like you knew it. You didn't fumble. You didn't stutter, stammer. You just, it's like you wrote it.
Have you ever said something? I've said it. I've said stuff from the stage, and people after I get off the stage, they go, "Do you know you said this?" I go, "No, I didn't mean to say that."
Okay, so I can say in the filming of videos, yeah, you make minor mistakes. Like I'll say Bob when I meant to say Brett or something. You know, I'll like mix up one of the characters' names that we're talking about. But if I'm retelling a memory of a place I was and something I did, I don't mess up. But if it's a script, if I'm not telling something that's in my mind as a memory and I'm just regurgitating words that I've memorized And I can't remember how many stories I've told on all these different places I've gone and how many months it's passed since the what? Yep, that's what happens when you tell lies. You get lost in the lies, Frank. The only way is you just got to keep telling more lies, Frank. But that's how we find out that you're a liar, because it's hard to do.
In fact, when I was at TPUSA at the
here we go.
At AmFest this past year, I was talking about this stuff, and I talked about how people are attacking Charlie's widow, and instead of saying his widow, I said her widow.
That's not the same thing, Frank. This is how stupid this guy is. Okay, when I was at AmFest and I was saying, instead of saying his widow, I said her widow. Duh. That's not the same thing, dude. You're telling a story of one. It should be the most traumatic day in your life. If any one of us were there, most traumatic day in our life. The only reason why for me it's not the most traumatic day in my life is because I had a really screwed up life and I lived through a lot of bad things. And so seeing the video was traumatizing, and it was traumatizing enough that I remember everything about that day. I could tell you everything. I know exactly what road I was on, when my wife called me, how long I pulled over for, what I did, and what I did after that. Frankie boy can't remember if he's on the phone. Is he not on the phone? Did I hang up the phone? Did I put it in my pocket? Well, then how did it get from your jeans pocket when you transferred into scrubs because all the blood that you got on you, but you never touched him? Oh, but you were doing CPR, but then Brian said you weren't doing CPR, so how'd you get all the blood on you? How did the phone get out of your jean pocket into your scrub pocket, make it all the way back to the hotel? It's not the same thing as saying his and her. I love you guys. Someone's saying they don't like the commentary. Bye, Felicia.
My wife, after I got down, said, you said her widow? I said, what? I didn't mean to say her widow. How did I say that? Man, the older I get, the more I do that. The more I say things, I'm thinking something else, and I say the other thing.
Oh.
And look, if you don't want to believe me, that's fine. Don't. I'm just saying this happens, and it happened to me. There's no way I was on FaceTime for 9 hours. When I got back to when we got to the hospital, that's when I hung up the phone. That's when I called Jack Hibbs. That's when Seth Dillon called me because he heard about what had happened.
Wait, what? Seth Dillon? You mean that really evil guy that Candace said is super evil and should not be trusted? You mean the guy that pressured Charlie at the Hamptons? That guy called you. So he has your number. Why does Seth Dillon have your number, Frank? What the actual heck is going on? If you have Seth Dillon's number and Seth Dillon is really close with Jeremy Boring and Ben Shapiro, I know who was on the phone with Ben. Couldn't have been Brian. Brian's stuffing the wound like a kitty on steroids, a kitty with catnip. He's just freaking 36 feet. I got to get it in there. Rick Cutler's got the tattoo. So, of course, he's not going to render aid to Charlie. He's just going to grab Brian. I got you, buddy. I'm not going to let you go. I got you. We got Dan Flood in the front seat. He's there. Him just calling intersections. Just left. Go. It's green. It's red. Go. I'm cutting at 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Justin is in there. He's sorry. I didn't mean to hit the screen. Justin's in there. He's holding on to the thing. We're going so fast. We're almost there. It's 10 minutes away. I know there was a closer hospital that was a better trauma center, but we're got to go to Timpanogos. So whose hands were available to make a call? We know someone spoke to Ben Shapiro's security team. Who had two hands? Frankie. Frankie had two hands. Frankie was on the phone with Seth Dillon. Seth Dillon called him. What the heck, bro? All my stuff's messed up. I didn't mean to hit it. I'm almost positive we got to get that clip to Candace because we were wondering who could have been on the phone in the car. Ben said while they were en route to the hospital, Ben was on the phone with someone in the car. Couldn't have been Brian. Okay. Unless Brian's lying about what they were doing in there. Couldn't have been Rick Cutler unless they're lying about what they were doing in there. Couldn't have been Justin. He's driving unless they're lying about what they were doing in there. Couldn't have been Dan. Dan's got to keep his eyes on the road. He's looking at the map. He's cutting intersections. They're going 100, you know? Could have only been Frankie Boy. These people just don't know when to shut up. Because there's not even like 3 degrees, 6 degrees of separation between all these losers. They're all connected to one another. We just found out, Candace said tonight, Frank Turek worked for Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, financial investment, and what's the other one? The other thing she said. They're all connected. I never would have guessed he had Seth Dillon's number and Seth Dillon had Frankie Boy's number. Now we know. Now we know. We're going to let him finish in a second. Let me get this one. We got Mystic Gypsy. None of them recall that day in any manner, which is normal, even for trauma, actually, especially for trauma. Wait, what? Wait, none of them recall that day in a manner which is normal. Okay. Wait, even for trauma, actually, especially for trauma. I think I'm misreading the way you wrote that. Are you saying because of trauma, they shouldn't remember that day normally? Or Mystic, you threw me off. I don't know. I think I know. Maybe I know. All right. Let me get back to Frank. He might tell us something more.
And so that's a complete misunderstanding. My fault for saying hotel rather than hospital.
It is.
But don't follow personalities, follow the evidence. Let me ask you this. Here's question number 21. Why isn't the defense team of Tyler Robinson making any of the claims Candace makes? Hint, because there's no evidence for them.
Do you not know how preliminary hearings work? It's just for the prosecution to establish probable cause. Okay. All the defense is supposed to do is poke holes in the evidence that they present, and they have to take the most direct approach that the judge will believe, because they're not allowed to present their own evidence, like a lot of it. They can only reference the evidence presented by the prosecution. That'll come in the trial when they can present alternative possibilities.
Why haven't they called Candace as an expert witness?
You're an idiot. I mean, what is she an expert in? Journalism? Like, we got ballistics, we had DNA, we had SBI detectives. What? That's such a stupid statement.
Number 23, what is the difference between a possibility and evidence for a possibility? We covered this in the last podcast as well. Anything's possible. It's possible that Charlie was killed by aliens. It's possible.
Nope.
What evidence do we have for that?
It's how stupid
it's possible we're living in the Matrix.
Whoa.
This whole thing is a dream. Possible. What evidence do you have for it?
Your mom.
And number 24, why is there so much evidence against Tyler Robinson?
There's not.
Oh, he was a patsy. At one point, Candace Owens said he wasn't even on campus. Yeah, and we have all this video evidence he was on campus.
Frank, show me one piece of video footage that shows his face clearly. In the beginning, I thought they said that they had video footage of him in the morning at 8:30 to 10 a.m. that was so clear, it was undeniably him in the maroon shirt, the hat, the shorts, and the Converse. Then here comes preliminary week. They show us the footage, and it's just like a blurry ghost face person. You don't know who it is. You can't tell who it is. Frank can. They all have special eyes that turn really poor footage into 4K high def, We don't have it. They have it. We just have to trust them.
And now she's trying to say, well, he's too tall or he's not too tall. He's not tall enough. It wasn't really Tyler Robinson. Lance Twiggs, who has immunity, says it's Tyler Robinson. Who is his lover, says, no, that's Tyler Robinson. He's wearing the shirt. The sunglasses the same. Looks like him.
It's actually not the same shirt. Hold on. Stand by, Frankie boy. Stand by. Let's get to it. All right. Pause. All right. Look at the cut of this shirt. Okay. And the reason why I'm pointing at this shirt, all right, because now we're going to go to the Dairy Queen photo. We're going to go to the Dairy Queen photo, and we're going to go side by side with the photo of the dude in the stairwell. Hold on. Did I not bookmark it? Dang it. It's so far back. Maybe I put it on my profile. Maybe I reposted somebody that did it. I know I have it. If not, I can just look it up. Hold up. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay. Maybe I didn't post it. Maybe I just need to look it up. All right, let's look it up. What? It's not going to let me type? That's weird. Well, hold on. What if I do this? Nope. That's cool. How you like them apples? All right. Don't know why it's not letting me type anything in. What did I do to my computer? You guys hear that when it beeps? That's fun. Man, if one of you that has an X, can you email me that post that someone did that shows Tyler Robinson in the maroon shirt in Dairy Queen and Tyler Robinson in the stairwell at the UVU surveillance? Or no, the maroon shirt in the police interrogation room, and you see him from behind. Can someone on X, there's a side by side, and you can see that they're two totally different shirts, different colors, different cuts. You could even see they're different humans, not the same. All righty then. Here we go. Made you think. 12. Blake also stuttered a ton when asked how he left Orem. He said, a plane was made available to us. I think it could have been an FBI. I think I read that, didn't I? Why wasn't it lit up? I mean, it didn't. Oh, it was. Hold on. This one. Sorry. Okay. When you're traumatized, you may block things out or recall wrongly, but you recall something specifically in so much detail that it burns into your soul, and none of them have spoken like that ever. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Had a feeling it was something along those lines. Jessica, high five. Good to see you. They want us fighting for Tyler's life because it's all about shooting of Charlie, but he wasn't shot. That's the distraction. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I don't know where I've landed yet, because as convinced as much as I'm in the exploding mic camp of things, there's still a lot in my own opinion that's like I'm like 98%, it's the exploding mic. But then riddle me this, Jessica. That means the entire, like the surgeon, the medical examiner, the autopsy are totally in on it. Because how did they retrieve those 5-7 bullet fragments from Charlie's neck? And I mean, isn't it possible that someone on a different roof shot a different caliber round and the mic exploded and he was electrocuted? I mean, that's why I hope this actually gets thoroughly investigated. So like we can like, this will be one of those things in our mind that just bother you forever. If we never get like a concrete answer, it's like, you know, it's like JFK. It's like, you know, it wasn't Lee Harvey. At least I think it wasn't Lee Harvey. I'm almost positive the man on the grassy knoll behind the fence at least shot the kill shot to the brain back and to the left. That's the only thing that matches the trajectory and like what it would do to JFK's body to make his head go like that. But there's always this lingering piece of doubt that you're like, not doubt that it might have been Lee Harvey. I don't question that at all. But that it might have been multiple modes of death and that they were just going to make sure that they got him, you know? And so I think that there's a possibility that we are witnessing multiple things happen all at the same time. That's at least, I think, possible. And I think the exploding mic is definitely one of them. But I think it's also possible there might be other things happening at the same time, not from Tyler, not from the Losi Center, not a 30-06, a smaller round, a different caliber rifle, a different location. I think that's at least possible with the different 911 calls, the other round that was found, you know, it just gives me, yeah, I just have lingering questions.
He said, well, it's a little grainy, but yeah, I think that's him. And Candace Owens somehow says, no, it's not him. In fact, is the defense team saying the guy in the video is not Tyler? No, they're not even saying that. Candace Owens is. What evidence do you have?
I didn't think that he, like before, I thought he might have, I thought he was on campus in the morning. Now, after this week, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. All right. Not in on it. Just going with not losing everything with disagreeing. These people are dangerous. Imagine someone coming to your door and telling you to stop or else with your family watching. Wait, I need context. What did the last one say? What is the value for Tyler's life? Because it's all about the shooting of Charlie, but it wasn't a shot. It was that's a distraction. Okay. Not in on it. Who? Just going with not losing everything with disagreeing. Like with other people, like about the theory, about what other theories or what other possibilities are there. I do agree these people are dangerous. Imagine someone coming to your door. Did someone come to your door? Or are you saying that happened to you, or that just hypothetically, like this could get people to do things if someone came to your door and was telling you to stop or else, and your family is watching? Yeah, I can imagine that. And I believe that probably happened to a lot of people, actually. They're victims too, most likely. Who? These people? Frank and Blake and Mikey and Andrew? It's possible. It's possible. Watch Barron's show from this evening. He put out a new timeline and is questioning if the autopsy was done or was done thoroughly. Yeah, I mean, did he put out new information about it? Because we always question the autopsy. Brian Harple in the Sean Ryan show was like, oh man, please release the autopsy. Like, the autopsy report's going to exonerate me and my team. It's going to prove that it was a bullet. He was positive. How could he be positive? He didn't see the bullet enter. Remember when they said that too? He was like, yeah, I'm so trained. I heard the crack thump, and then I heard the bullet. And he goes, smack his body. You can hear that, you know. Sean didn't say, yeah, I know. But Brian's like, I heard the bullet smack his body. I didn't hear that. And I've watched hundreds of different videos trying to figure out what happened to Charlie. I don't hear the bullet smack his neck. But then we know that he gets on the phone with someone important like JD or Trump and says, we need an autopsy today. Get it done. And then I guess some strings got pulled. They did the same thing with JFK. They made sure they had the right person do the autopsy to say the right thing and to leave everything else out. Brian was positive the autopsy would prove that his team was not negligent, they had nothing to do with it, and that Charlie was killed with a 30-06. That's weird. I don't know how he could be positive of that at the hospital. Like, how could he know any of that? We didn't know anything. You know, this was like 10 minutes after. How would he know that the autopsy would exonerate him? Did Erika let him see this botched, fabricated autopsy report? Did she show him and make sure, like, hey, I'm not an expert. Can you look at this and make sure this guy did what we told him to do? Can you read it over and make sure this is in line with what is plausible and likely with a 30-06 wound? Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay, absolutely not TPUSA. Just the players in the hospital and paperwork going through. Yes. Okay, thank God. Jessica, you had me worried for a second. Yes, I definitely think they could approach the surgeon, Lee Trotter, and we know that he was visited shortly after. We know. I definitely think they go to some of the key people, even police officers. You know, whoever did the autopsy. They spoke to Lee Trotter, which was the surgeon that treated Charlie, but he's not the one that did the autopsy. And I definitely think they would go to these people and say, you better play ball, see? Or else it could be you next. You know? Yeah. These people, I think, are straight up evil, though. You know? I think there's a track record of them being evil. So that's why I think I don't think they're innocent.
That all the evidence against Tyler has been fabricated.
Yeah, because it has.
For what motive? And by what means did they fabricate all this evidence? Who possibly could do all this? Number 26. If a foreign government wanted Charlie dead, why didn't they just kill him privately with no witnesses? Not in front of thousands with cameras rolling.
Because you're stupid.
And were Charlie's views more likely, or I should say more friendly to...
Hold on, I got to address that. Because Frankie knows the answer. Frankie boy knows the answer, right? Former Navy officer, you know, friends with people in the IDF and the Mossad. You know, he's got Seth Dillon and Ben Shapiro, security team, phone on his speed dial. Frankie knows. Had to be a message, had to be public, had to be graphic. It had to be used to foment a left versus right, you know, strife and issue. I think they were hoping, I don't think they thought the right was going to fracture over this. I think the videos screwed that up, you know. The videos screwed it up bad. I think the exploding mic screwed it up bad. I think the neck wound with no exit wound screwed it up really bad. I think they were pivoting and they were calling audibles on the field and they sucked. Okay. They were like, yeah, what was that quarterback in Ace Ventura? Is that Finkelstein or what is that? You know, laces out or whatever, you know, not a Tom Brady, not a Joe Montana, not a Steve Young audible player, not a, you know, Peyton Manning audible player on the field. These guys suck at audibles, right? Erika Kirk is leading the charge, right? She's like, hey, doc, I mean, how could a 30-06 do that? And he goes, I don't know. It shouldn't have. It should have just gone through. And she goes, well, maybe it was God. Maybe it was a miracle. Maybe it's because Charlie was so healthy. Maybe it's because he had really dense bones. I always made him spinach. He ate his spinach. You know, maybe it's just a modern day miracle. You know, there were people behind the tent. Maybe God knew. Maybe Charlie knew. And he did this as his last, like, Christian thing and saved everybody. That was Erika. And then she told Andrew to go out there and say it was him. And then, or no, say it was the surgeon that said it. So they're calling audibles on the play and they suck at it. And so, yeah, I think they're evil and guilty, at least of something, you know. Look at that smile. Need I say more? Huh? What? I didn't do that. Hold on.
Israel or to Muslim countries? Regardless of what you think about what Charlie was thinking at the end of his life, I know what he was thinking because I was with him.
What? Frank knows what Charlie was thinking in his brain because Frankie was next to him in the days before he was murdered. Did you know Frank has telepathy? Did you know Frank can read minds? Did you know Frank knows exactly what we're thinking, even though he's somewhere else? Frank knows what Charlie was thinking because Frank was there. I don't know. I don't think he knows. But yeah, it's just part of his lie.
And we had a meeting with Israeli officials the day before.
Israeli officials. These guys, the more they talk, they don't remember the last thing they said. Rabbi Wolicki, I didn't know was an Israeli official. Josh Hammer is an Israeli official. Who else was on the phone that could be characterized as an Israeli official? What does that mean? Israeli citizen? No, that can't be it. Dual citizen? No, that can't be it. An Israeli official was on that phone call. Please explain that further, Frank. I need to know who else was on that phone now. We know Mikey was there, Blake was there, Andrew was there, or they were on the phone. Some of them were in person. Some of them were on the phone. Josh Hammer was on the phone. Rabbi Wolicki was on the phone. Who is the Israeli officials that are on the phone? He said plural. The Israeli officials were on the phone call. Who was it, Frank?
Before he was murdered, Charlie was trying to get better at answering questions related to Israel and Hamas.
Look at that face. He thinks he's good at this. That's why he keeps doing it. He thinks he's actually good at this. That's why he keeps making videos. He's convinced that he's doing a good job. He doesn't listen to his wife. His wife's told him. That's why he wrote the email to himself. He doesn't listen to her. He's got a lot of yes man in his corner saying, keep it up, Doc. You're doing good. Charlie didn't need to get a bunch of stupid people around him and ask them their opinion to help him with arguments about Hamas and Israel. You know, he just watched Dave Smith destroy Josh Hammer. Okay. He's an autodidact. Okay. He's self-taught. Okay. He can remember pretty much everything he hears and sees and reads. So, you know, he's talking to Tucker. He's learning. He's talking to Joe Kent. He's learning. He's watching Dave Smith destroy Josh Hammer. He's learning. And then he's reading. And then he's reading and watching and he's forming his own opinions. Charlie didn't need a single one of these people to help him form any opinions. That last phone call was for him to tell them to fly a kite. That's why Rabbi Wolicki characterized that last phone call as confrontational. How could it be confrontational if he called you guys to help him form arguments? Like, please explain that to me. Hey guys, I'm forming this Zoom call. It's the night before the big game. Like Erika said, it was like his Super Bowl. See, I got on the whiteboard. I got all these sticky notes. And I just need to assemble my, my dream team. That's you guys, Josh Hammer, Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy, and Rabbi Wolicki is and Frank Turek. I forgot. Frank Turek's there too. The dream team. Can you guys help me form the arguments, understand the possible arguments that are going to be thrown at me tomorrow? Explain to me how that turns into a combative, confrontational phone call. Because it wasn't for him to ask for help. I think they tried to turn it into something it wasn't meant to be. And I think he was like, bro, I'm going to answer the things how I answer them. We don't know what kids are going to ask. I'm just going to be honest, like I've been every day since I've been here. They ask me questions. I tell them what I think. I tell them what I know. And that's what I do. That's why they like me. I'm honest. I'm authentic. And I'm direct. Okay. Sucks that you guys don't like that because right now I'm honest and direct about Israel. So, I mean, but you guys trying to have this freaking focus group session, trying to tell me what I need to say tomorrow. Now I know you're the snakes in the grass. Okay. You're just like Bill Ekman at the Hamptons, and Seth Dillon was there pressuring me not to have Tucker on because Tucker's views don't deserve to be spoken to the world, right? They don't need to be. What did he say? Given a platform or whatever. I think he knows. And then I think he walked out of there going, holy smokes, they're freaking all in on it, dude. And that's when he got in the fight with Erika. Because I think she was the last, hope for all of them. And then he realized, you too, huh? I had a feeling. I had a good feeling it was you too. Now I know. Yeah, I'm going to sleep in the other room tonight. I'll come in and get my stuff. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm not going to kiss you goodbye. I'm going to leave early. You can stay here. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
But some people are trying to say, oh, he's turning on Israel. Let's say for the sake of argument that he wasn't as friendly to Israel as he once was. Was he more friendly to Israel or to Muslim countries? Clearly Israel. So what motive would Israel have to kill Charlie? And if Israel did kill him, why haven't they killed prominent commentators like Candace and Tucker Carlson who are very hostile to Israel?
Well, they did try to kill Tucker. Do you not remember what happened when he went and interviewed Mr. Huckabee? They tried to get him to leave the airport when he didn't need to leave the airport. Okay. And then when he refused to leave the airport and he did the interview there, when they were done, they pretty much detained him and scared the living bejesus out of him and his team. And yeah, isolated them both and then interviewed him, like interrogated him. I was speaking to someone earlier today that for me, the timeline begins in March. He already knows in March 2025 that people, his donors, BB, he knows from all the interaction that he has, from all the campus events and all the different chapter leadership summits and all the different events they put on. He watches and listens to other people like Dave Smith and Tucker, that support for Israel was waning quickly. And Israel kept making decisions that made things worse continually. They just kept making things worse because they've gotten away with it for so long. It's like they don't know when to stop. Okay. And they don't think that anyone's ever going to stop them. Right. So he writes this 7-page letter to Bibi. I'm looking at these Rumble people chats that just showed up. I don't know why it says something. Oh, are those emojis? Green siren? I can't see what it says. It's weird. I do think sometimes it merges the chat, you guys. Well, maybe I see it on my end and you guys don't see it. Did your guys' chat get messed up? It's frozen. Huh. Hold on. I don't see any YouTube comments in the chat. And then the person said raid. The chat is fine. There's Cynthia. There you are. You guys are still here. Okay. That's weird. I wish I could show you what I see. It's not showing up on my monitor screen that people from Rumble are commenting, but I can see it on mine. I just rated you. I don't care. Is that cool? Is that a cool thing or is that a bad thing? Right on. We'll have to, Mystic, can you hop over to the Rumble chat and take care of it, please? If Mystic is here, hopefully Mystic is here. All right. So they said they just rated me in the Rumble chat. Cool beans. Charlie writes the 7-page letter to BB. I've read it. All right. I think. Oh, back up actually. In December 2024, he reaches out to a previous security team person. I forget the guy's name. And he says to that guy, I don't trust my security team. I want to hire some other team like yours. And when they were supposed to meet, this guy gets like detained and arrested or something happens. I forget. They never get to meet and then they never have that conversation again and it never comes to fruition. So I think Charlie was always already wise that Israel wanted something to happen to him and that they might use his security team. Okay. He writes the letter to BB in March. That letter kind of sets off the dominoes. That letter tells BB, you've lost the support. You've lost the hearts and minds of Americans in the United States. And you've definitely lost the youth, and the youth are the future. So if you don't do what I tell you, you guys are pretty much screwed. So here you go. Here's like a blueprint. You can even call it the Israel Truth Network. There you go. BB goes, can I do it with you? And he goes, no, that's not what I said. Did I say that in the letter? Did I say that in the letter? No, I didn't. Then BB goes on all these different podcasts here in the United States. Brandon Tatum is one of them and a couple other idiots. All right. It didn't do anything. It didn't work because no one likes BB. BB's such an idiot. Charlie didn't say for BB to do it. It was to get other, other people to do it. Well, in that time frame, Charlie's also planning the Student Action Summit in the summer. That's when he does the debate with Dave and Josh Hammer, Dave Smith and Josh Hammer. Josh loses. Then he has Tucker on, Megyn Kelly on, and that's when he meets with the chapter leads and does that focus group. After that, the pressure gets hard on him because of everything that Tucker and him said during the Student Action Summit. Okay. People were pressuring him. Donors were pulling out. People were threatening him. Seth Dillon wrote a post and was like on X and was like, you should not have Tucker on at AmFest. And it just got worse as time went on. Then he goes to the Hamptons. At the Hamptons, they have that pressure cooker session where Seth Dillon is there, Bill Ackman is there, Josh Hammer is there, other people are there. And what do you know? They're talking about Israel and it gets confrontational and combative. Also, Erika's there. That's also when BB calls and says, I want to give you 100, and I've heard different numbers quoted, 120, 150, 180, whatever. It's $100 and something million to take TPUSA to the next level. Charlie says no to BB a second time. Okay. From there, he goes to Tucker's house, tells Tucker everything about the Hamptons. He's reported that after Charlie's death, exactly what Charlie was saying to him and what was going on. I think Erika was never being anti-Israel, like trying to force Charlie to be anti-Israel. I think Erika is a chameleon. I think she's a shapeshifter. I think she is someone that no matter what audience she has, she's going to match them, right? She's going to know what they want. She knows Charlie, what Charlie feels on this. She knows what Tucker feels on this. So she's just going to mirror them. And that's why Tucker would then report to Candace that, yeah, actually she was anti-Israel, right? She even came out pretty strong. She seemed more anti-Israel than Charlie, you know? But I think that she's not going to let down her guard and allow Charlie to start suspecting her as being one of them. So she's going to, in front of him, pretend to be in the same position that he is, right? Right. Then we have the whole Aspen retreat. They ask him what's going to happen if something happens to you, right? You're one man, you do so much. What happens to TPUSA if something happens to you? That's weird, right? After that, let's see, that brings us into August. Then he does the show with Megyn Kelly, and he goes max with Megyn about donors, about, all of it, Israel, anti-Semitism, everything. At the same time, the Foreign Ministry of Israel is filing the Clock Tower X and the Show Faith by Works FAR filings to infiltrate the United States Christian evangelical Protestant community, and to send us propaganda and to, track us and all that. And then I think they were also simultaneously planning the assassination of Charlie Kirk, because Bibi doesn't take kindly to being told no. And so he wanted TPUSA for himself. And I'm pretty sure they have something to do with it, in my opinion. It's just an opinion. Everything I say on the show is my opinion. It's not a statement of fact. But that we can see what happened to TPUSA after, right? Like, oh, Charlie supported the war in Iran. Charlie wanted regime change. Charlie loved Israel. Charlie wasn't Catholic. Charlie didn't want to become Catholic. He just liked the stained glass windows. He just liked the cathedrals. It's kind of weird that Erika used that. She used that at CLS as an analogy, right? Well, the husband is a cathedral and the wife is the stained glass. I thought that was weird. I forgot to point that out. Remember, Charlie was just, so fascinated with the architecture. Give me a break. But ever since Charlie was assassinated, TPUSA has turned into something else. And I can't see this any other way, that all had stuff to do with everything that was going in the last 9 months of Charlie's life, So, yeah. All right. Let's move on, because I want to show you these morons. Jeremy boring. He is boring. Let's listen to something he says.
I had sort of early on seen in Ben what I thought was generational talent. And that instinct obviously bore out. I think Ben's the most important political commentator of his generation. But not many people.
Ben Shapiro is the most important political commentator of his generation. That guy's stupid. Charlie obviously was. Ben is nothing. Jeremy said this after Charlie was dead. This was said on the PBD podcast on June 18th, 2026. Now that Charlie's gone and Erika's not obviously going to defend him, and neither is Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, or anyone else to tell him, like, what are you talking about? Charlie is the most influential political commentator of this generation. Well, that's weird. Let's see what Ben thought the day after the assassination. What do you guys think Ben says? Do you think Ben says he's the most political important commentator of his generation? Or do you think he says Charlie is? Let's see.
As I say, turning to Jeremy Boring and saying to Jeremy, that kid's going to be the head of the RNC, because Charlie's energy was infectious.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I saw in Charlie that was really amazing is how much better he got at things over time. When you watch somebody progress from an 18-year-old high school graduate, never went to college, to become one of the most important political figures in America, creator of the most important political organization by all rights in the country. You get to watch somebody develop. And I watched as Charlie got better at everything. He was an autodidact. He
said it twice, the most important political figure in the country was going to be the head of the RNC. That's weird. Jeremy thinks Ben's the best. Ben thinks Charlie was the best. Who's telling the truth? Neither of them are. They're both lying. Ben thinks he's the best. He said that it was the day after the assassination. He's a freaking scumbag. He knows nothing else but to do that. Jeremy, actually, I think Jeremy's telling the truth for him. I think he actually believes that statement, which just shows you what a freaking idiot he is. Ben is not, he's not the most important political commentator of this generation. Check your X notifications. I sent you the side-by-side images of Tyler you asked for. Indy Brunette. Thank you. Awesome. Look at us, you guys. Teamwork. We can do anything when we work together. Where is my notification? Notifications. There it is. All right. What? My notification? You mean in a message? In a message? Did you send it to Mystic? No. Notifications. It's not there. Priority? No. Mentions? Not there either. What's going on, people? When you tell me you sent me something, where did it go? Did you put it underneath in a comment somewhere? Bookmark? Nope. I don't know where you think you sent it. It's not in my notifications, I promise you, because it's Mystic, Renita, BB. Those are the top ones, and they're just reposting and liking my short that I posted. So I don't know where you sent it. I don't see it anywhere. You can either email it to me at the Blackline Brief, or you can send it in a message, or you can like tag it on post, but then you got to tell me which post. It's under the clip, the first clip. Oh, why do people say? Okay. All right. Let me go to my profile. The first clip. There it is. Teamwork. Here we go. Let's look at Tyler, not Robinson. This doesn't look like Tyler at all. This guy's like thicker. And you look at the shirt and the cut. Oh, I wish we had it when he was fully turned around. The one I was looking for is when he's actually facing the door and you get the full side by side. Because this shirt, look at this. Look at the color. Look at the cut. Look at his arms. This is supposedly the same day. These are supposedly the exact same clothes. There's the Hurley hat. There's his sunglasses. Yeah. Yep. Look at the cut. Look at the color. Not the same shirt. It's not even the same dude. This guy's thicker. This guy's thicker. And in the clearer photo, there's one that's clear. You can see it, their hair's on the, well, at least the back of this dude's hair is not the same as the back of Eagle Boy's hair when he's walking up the stairwell inside of the parking garage. So, oh, let's go here because these guys just don't know when to stop. They just don't know when to shut up. Don't worry, I'll get them.
A lot of people who, since his death, have revealed themselves to be even worse than what the people Charlie was defending them against had accused them of being.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable betrayal.
Yeah.
You know, Charlie died refusing millions of dollars to disassociate from Tucker.
Yep.
Also that Tucker.
What's that? So he's telling a partial truth. That's what these people do. Charlie did refuse millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars from BB. He also refused millions of dollars from donors because donors said, don't have Tucker on or I take my money. And he said, I'm having Tucker on. So that's the same thing. He refused the money. They're like, the money can stay, means you can have it if you do what we say. If you don't do what we say, we take the money. So it's like in reverse. Charlie said, keep your money. I'm going to do what I want to do. He refused that money too. And he refused BB's. Now we have Jeremy Boring, who is, you know, lovers with Ben Shapiro, Seth Dillon and Gary Melton, saying that, oh, no. Charlie refused money from Tucker Carlson. Hey, buddy, you know, one of the things that you tell us, you can't make claims without the evidence. Frank says extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. We're going to need to see the proof there, Jeremy. Can you prove it that Charlie denied Tucker Carlson's millions of dollars? Or are you just get in front of a camera and go and talk? That's all he does. That's all he does.
Or could go to his funeral and make a hummus eater joke or whatever. Like it's a
And not mention him really since.
and not mention him.
You know.
Yeah.
And allow people on his show, including his brother, to essentially implicate TPUSA and Charlie's friends and family
And his wife.
and his wife.
His widow and his children. It's just it's been difficult to comprehend.
Yes.
Actually. The level of evil and self-serving that has been happening in the aftermath of Charlie's death. Hard to process, really, that level of
evil.
But it's a good point about the tent getting too big and bad people getting inside. Of course, you know, a lot of the people were inside, but it's just, you don't want to attract, even if they'll vote with you, people who you know, can't respect.
Yeah.
Who are these ladies?
The president.
Who are these ladies? Is this Jeremy's wife? Is that Jeremy's sister? Who are these people? Who told them they were important enough to get on camera and open their mouth? I don't know. Whose house key is that? Oh, we told you last week. That's Jeremy's boyfriend's house key. He doesn't want to lose it. It's his way of telling his boyfriend every time he's on a show, I love you, Philip. Philip, I got your key. It's right here. I'll come over as soon as I'm done filming this show. Love you. Look at the comment under mine. I sent you the full image of him walking. The comment under the photo? I did. It is Crystal. Crystal wrote the comment under your photo. But I don't see of anyone walking. I click on the images and it's just those two. It's just those two. I don't see it, ladies and gentlemen, unless I am stupid. Is it under the second video? No. The first video? Okay, I think someone emailed it to me. Hold on. Nope, those are end of the day Charlie clips. All right, I got to continue. I don't see it. All right, hold on. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next thing, ladies and gentlemen. All right, there's going to be a bit of a jump scare. All right. Do you guys remember Cabot Phillips? Cabot Pizza Phillips? He works on the Daily Wire. He works for Ben Shapiro. He is Erika Kirk's ex-boyfriend. He was one of the guys they tried to push on us after Charlie's death, pick up the mic campaign. And then we saw the flyers and the posters online and we were like, nope. 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 None of us are going to that. Nope. Don't do it. Don't do it, Erika. We know you're trying to get your boyfriend a job. Not the time. Not happening. And then he never did the event. Well, TPUSA is like, let's do shows with them. Jack Posobiec is like, I'll do a show with you. Let's hang out. I like you.
It's hard to believe since Charlie's assassination. I know that the two of you were very close. You were in that courtroom.
I was told you and Erika are very close. I mean, Erika said you were very close. You're that couple that goes and paints together. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Can you tell me if Charlie knew that you and Erika probably as adults, you know, before Charlie knew her, were you honest? Did you tell him? Did Erika tell him? I doubt it. I saw pictures of you and Charlie after playing basketball. You're telling me he knew that you guys were together and he was like, I'm okay with that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so. I wouldn't be okay with that.
Throughout the entire pre-trial, first, just why was it so important for you to travel to Utah to be there in person?
Well, look, I mean, this was for Charlie. They took him away from us, and there's a debt there. There's an absolute debt that needs to be paid, not just to the country, not just to the movement, but to Erika, to his parents, Rob and Kathy, and to their children for every single moment that.
Ooh. What debt do you think he's talking about? I think he means blood in, blood out, life for life, eye for an eye. Old Testament stuff, right? I think he's saying Tyler deserves to die. I think that whoever killed Charlie deserves to be put to death. I just don't think it was Tyler. I'm just underwhelmed with everything I saw last week. I'm just not convinced. Oh, Jackie Poo, you and your boyfriend. You and your boyfriend, Cabot Phillips.
They lost with their father. And so, this is something as well where we have to make sure that justice is done. And of course, that guy who's sitting there, that all the evidence points to, that he understands that he will get what's coming to him at the end of this process.
Ooh.
And you've talked pretty extensively.
Are you going to do it? How are you so positive? You're so sure he's going to get what's coming to him, Jack. Okay.
About how you feel like the death penalty, if there's a conviction, the death penalty needs to be brought here. And not just in this case, but for assassinations, political or not, more broadly. Right. Why do you think that's so important?
Well, so a political assassination is a cancer upon society, specifically that one which destroys our ability to have our civic life. The First Amendment is about freedom of assembly, about freedom of speech. This is what Charlie fought for. And what place more than any other than the modern public square is, of course, a college campus. This is what Charlie did. He engaged in political thought and political debate. That is our bedrock principle upon which all of our other civil liberties rest in the United States. So to conduct an assassination like this is an attack not just on Charlie, not just on conservatives, but actually on our very system here in a country. We cannot function if we devolve into the barbarism of assassinations, of political violence. It's hard to say what was the most compelling. I mean, the DNA is a direct match. I mean, obviously that's always key. But the two pieces of evidence that I think, just really rocked me were.
Oh, sorry, Jack, you cut out there for a bit. I think we got you now, though. Go ahead. You can continue.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll close my tabs. The testimony of Lance Twiggs, who could have provided an alibi. Let's not forget that. Lance Twiggs could have said, hey, he was with me the whole night. And in fact, that gun that you guys were looking for, it was stolen. And we haven't seen this thing, and it's gone now, and we can't find it. So, I don't know what you're looking at. And no, he didn't do that. He stepped up and told the truth, the same way that Tyler Robinson's parents, who were also in the courtroom, told the truth. And while that evidence wasn't presented, they didn't testify, but we know.
But we know the parents told the truth. When did they do that? When did they do that? But we know,
of course, that they played the instrumental role.
Of course, they played the instrumental role in what? Turning him in. He confessed to them. Sloppity slap, 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 slap. Piggy slap, piggy slap.
Calling their son in.
Sorry, guys, for the back and forth. Jack, you have been honing in on another piece of evidence here on your show, talking about this cell phone data and what it shows us about Tyler Robinson's location during this fateful day on September 10th. Can you just tell us what has been discovered on that front?
First, Cabot Stupid Pizza Phillips. did you watch the prelim? Did anyone see the prosecution say, we have cell phone data that puts him right here at this time? I don't remember hearing anything about that. Do you guys? They have cell phone data? They have cell phone data? I didn't see it. Did you guys see it? Oh, what up, Zamet? I saw you gave a big chat to Candace today. I saw you in there. My wife was like, Zamet, what's up, Zamet? Pre-trial slop commentary reminds me of the Pam Bondi Binders release. A total stinker. Yeah, guess who was there? Guess who was given a binder? Jack Posobiec. He was there. He was given a binder. An empty binder. Because there was nothing in it. But the Dow is just so good. Everyone is focused on the, the abuse and the transportation of humans against their will and the, all that stuff that he did. Why can't people just focus on the winning? Trump is just winning. It's like, we're just winning everything. We're just shooting them down. We're just knocking it. We're just winning. NASDAQ, Dow. Please, can we just talk about all the winning? Can we move on from all of the trauma and corruption? Because we're never going to get to the bottom of it. We're never going to tell you guys the truth. You guys think we're here for accountability? Transparency? Nope.
Sure. So on the cell phone front, and this is in an old search warrant, people can go and check it out, but there's so many of these pieces of evidence that...
Oh, interesting. This is in an old search warrant. So they didn't release it in the preliminary hearing. So you're talking about stuff that was in a search warrant, but that wasn't presented in the prelim. That's weird. The prosecution decided this isn't strong enough. We need to meet probable cause. This won't help us. Let's not use it. Jack goes, I think it's gold when I add a bunch of stuff to it. Now it's amazing.
Now that the hearing has happened, people need to go in. There's cell phone data that shows immediately after the shooting. So at about 12:47 p.m., remember Charlie shot at 12:23 p.m. This is in Mountain Time, Utah time, that Tyler Robinson made in his phone on his Google Maps account a Google route from his position, an area very close to UVU campus, to a nearby car wash. Now, we don't know why he did that, why he would go to a car wash at that time. We also found information, or I should say we investigators also found information, you can see it yourself if you read the documents, that he was conducting Google Maps searches in the middle of the night at about 12:44 a.m. So this is now September 11th, after the shooting, the early morning hours, and then again 1:31 a.m. from an address very close to where the rifle was found, all the way back to his home in St. George, Utah, about 3 hours later. So again, this is just more
It's not more confirmation. They didn't use it as evidence, which is weird. And him getting a Google Maps to a car wash just because he's near the school. We knew he was near the school. We have him at the Dairy Queen. That doesn't mean he killed Charlie Kirk, though. How do you guys connect these dots? They're not even on the same page.
Confirmation, his own cell phone data connecting him directly to the scene of the crime.
Wait. His cell phone data connecting him directly to the scene of the crime? Jackie Poo, you just said he was near campus, went to a car wash near campus, not on campus, and then he did a Google search near the house where the rifle was found to his house. You know, people use Google Maps to find out where to go and how to get home. People use it for everything nowadays. Okay. Doesn't mean he killed Charlie Kirk because he used Google Maps.
Well, by the way, if they look at that car, if there were, it does say there was a search warrant that went out for the infotainment system. Look, guys, people don't realize this. Your car is recording everywhere you go. Every time you hit the gas, every time you hit the brake, your car system has that stored internally. And
yeah, why didn't they use that in the prelim? They didn't use that as evidence, Jack.
Yes, the investigators can get that.
Jack, we've seen all sorts of people online claim to have smoking gun evidence that Tyler Robinson was not the shooter, or even that he wasn't even on campus that day. And a lot of folks have said, okay, if people online are producing that evidence, wouldn't his defense produce that evidence? You were in the courtroom. Did his defense present any of this so-called evidence that he was not there that day?
The defense didn't produce any evidence of their own. They could only reference evidence that the prosecution presented. Cabot, are you still mad? Are you still mad, Cabot, that Candace called you out on her show? Are you still mad that you tried to confront her at that playground with your son and her kids, and she said, Philip, pizza boy, Cabot, retard, this is not the time and the place. I got my kids. They're just playing in the jungle gym. Can you not do this here? Please don't make a scene. My security guards are right over there. They will handle you.
No, they didn't. And, look, I understand the burden of proof, of course, is on the prosecution. That's no question. But, one would think.
Oh, there it is. I understand the burden of proof is on the prosecution, meaning the prosecution in the prelim is trying to prove the case, and the defense just has to poke holes in it in the preliminary hearing. And they did just that. Zamet Cabot's tough grilling of Posobiec and his infantile, trust me, bro, replies are embarrassing. Yeah, that's why he would. Yeah, that's why even Erika was like, oh, I could do better than you. You're not even a man. You're just a boy, man, child, like Graham Allen, baby, man, boy, child. Later. I agree. All right, we got another one I got to get to. Dude, when you sit for a long time, your butt goes numb, just so you know. Did you guys know Cabot Phillips was on the Daily Wire with Michael Knowles the day of the shooting? Did you guys know that? I didn't know that.
I would like to bring on another one of our friends, Cabot Phillips.
That's weird.
With updates about what exactly happened, what investigators are learning now.
Out of all the people that you could have chosen to give the updates on the Charlie Kirk assassination on the day of the assassination, you choose this guy. That's freaking weird, bro. That's weird. Let's give him a shot.
Cabot.
Thanks, Michael. That was really powerful stuff there. I know everyone at home watching is feeling exactly what we're feeling right here, just devastated.
Joy, zeal, excitement. Remember, Erika's excited. Erika said she's excited. I know it's weird to say excited, but she said it. She said she's excited. Are you guys excited? Ben offered all of the Daily Wire's resources, not just financial, all at Erika's disposal. Anything you need, Benji's here for you. Hey, Cabot's right here. You know him. Do you guys remember each other? Yeah, Erika, Cabot. Oh, you do. Oh, you guys, you do know each other. All right.
But we're going to try our best to get through the news, get as much of the story out there as we can. For people just tuning in, Charlie Kirk is dead at 31 years old. We're still piecing the story together right now, the details as they come in.
That's weird. Didn't someone come out with the song the day or a couple days before? Charlie Kirk dead at 31. Why is Cabot repeating the exact words of the title of that song? Huh. It's like they got to reveal the method. It's super weird. Charlie Kirk dead at 31. That is verbatim the same words of the song. Cabot, did you write the song? Are you a ghostwriter? You wrote it. You just had that guy post it. Dang, Cabot, you be crazy.
But here's what we know for people just tuning in. Charlie was speaking at Utah Valley University.
Yep.
He was holding one of his Prove Me Wrong events. For those who aren't familiar, these are the sort of debate style open mic events where thousands of students and others are coming out. And Charlie made a point to give the microphone to anyone who disagreed with him. That was Charlie's thing. He would talk to anybody. He was willing to debate anybody.
I wonder if Cabot at this moment in time knew. I wonder if he knew that Erika was going to offer him a job. I wonder if he knew that he was going to be touted out there as Charlie's possible replacement for pick up the mic. Remember, Benji's the one that day said, pick up the blood-stained mic. And then TPUSA and Erika Kirk create a whole slogan campaign called Pick Up the Mic. And Cabot is the first one they try to sell to us as the one picking up the mic. Why are they all connected and they just all are just doing the most? It's just like they don't know when to stop.
And one of those events was taking place. One shot rang out. Right now, the university says that shot came from an adjacent building from about 200 yards away. It was one.
That's weird. When did this get posted again? Dang. This came out September 10th. They were getting information on the day of from the university. How is that possible? How did they know that the shot came from the Losi Center? Like literally, they just announced Charlie Kirk is dead. When did everyone announce Charlie Kirk is dead? Well, it happened pretty quickly. It was around 1 p.m. Gotta say, if Benji Boy is on the phone with Frankie Boy and Benji knew right away, that means Michael Knowles and Cabot Phillips knew right away. So they knew he was dead, but who did they know at UVU that's going to tell them that the shot came from an adjacent building 200 yards away? That's weird. We didn't know that. The FBI said they didn't have any leads. Did they look at the security camera? Did you talk to Officer Bagley? You talked to Officer Bagley? He was the one looking at the surveillance footage from the Losi Center roof. How did you know, Cabot? How did you know, Cabot? Oh, Cabot. I think it's Benji.
One single shot.
One single
he was
shot.
Struck in the neck.
Oh.
He was immediately rushed away, but ultimately did die a short time after. Initially, there were reports that a shooter had been detained. There was video going around of a single man being carried away by police. The university is now saying that was not the shooter and that that person was not responsible and that right now the shooter is at large.
So I wish this had a timestamp, not just a date. Do these have timestamps on here? They do not. Man, Google's got to up their game, or YouTube needs to up their game. We need a timestamp on this. When did these idiots post this? Doesn't say. Transcript. Yeah, it doesn't say. All right.
So we are still waiting to see who was responsible for this heinous crime. At the moment, though, right now, there are a number of police and law enforcement vehicles conducting sweeps all around the campus. As you can imagine, this is an extensive operation. You're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of law enforcement right now combing through. FBI Director Kash Patel has said that his people are already on the ground, that they are investigating this, obviously because of the political nature. So there are FBI resources pulling in. The White House has said that they are deploying any resources possible to try and get to the bottom of who is responsible for this. But again, as of the latest reporting, the shooter is still at large. Police say, the university says that the shooter fired from about 200 yards away, perched up on top of a building.
Dang, perched up on top of the building. It's like they had it solved. That's nuts.
President Trump confirmed the news.
All right. Yeah, we know about President Trump. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me knock a couple things off the to-do list. If you guys haven't done so already, please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe. It's the best way to help support this channel. Also, if you guys ever want to email me, you can email me here at theblacklinebrief, gmail.com, or theblacklinebrief@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you guys want to donate, somebody asked me earlier, they couldn't do it through YouTube. So there is buymeacoffee.com/theblacklinebrief. All right. Well, there's a bigger one. There you go. There you go. Now, let's get to the best part of the show where we watch Charlie Kirk. All right. All right. Let me pull him up. All right.
Night doing this. You say you believe in freedom and free speech, right? Okay. So which side do you think the American right or the American left currently is doing a better job of protecting the idea of freedom of speech?
Actually, they're both sucking pretty hardcore. They're both being absolutely horrible at it.
How has the right been horrible at that? I'm curious.
They're both being horrible in the exact same way. And it's who are they protecting or standing up for free speech for? Like free speech for who?
Can I ask a theoretical question? Do you think if a liberal came to speak at University of Kentucky, they'd give an open mic like I just did to a conservative and had a discussion like this?
I certainly hope they would.
No, they wouldn't, because speech is not a left-wing value. That's why Chuck Schumer went on the Senate floor yesterday and called for the censorship of a cable television program. And we could spend all night.
That is true. All right. We got another one. Hold on.
Their theology department. I don't want to spend everyone's time on this, but
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a great experience, and I'll take that into account if I talk about it in the future.
Okay. Well, it was still a lead into a question, and I was just
Okay.
wondering for you, and I don't want people to like just make a comment. I didn't want to be that guy. For you though, like what are the metrics for you for when you think a university has strayed too far from a university's purpose?
Okay, yeah. So in Biola in particular, I could tell you that many of the students graduating do not believe in the inerrancy of Scripture. They do not believe in the virgin birth. They do not believe in the core tenets of the Christian faith. And so there's a lot of deconstructionism in the last 5 years that have been introduced at Biola. And
Okay.
so Hillsdale is America's greatest college, in my opinion, because they know what a college is, which is the pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty. It's not about just going to college and learning whatever you want to learn. It's towards a destination of trying to look at things that point up, not point down or confuse.
Okay, so
he's the head of their.
Man, I wonder what campus they were at. I know they're talking about Biola, but I doubt that he's going to say, I doubt Charlie's going to say that on Biola's campus. Where is this? I think this is the same campus, actually. No, the back looks different.
You guys want to be a millionaire, go become a carpenter. I mean, that's where the money is right now, because we send all of our kids to just laptop class and not the muscular class. Again, if you want to be here, go ahead. It's just,
Okay,
I think you guys don't
quick
realize.
question.
Once you're outside of college, you'll be like, oh my goodness, that was a waste of 4 years.
Okay, but question.
I'm telling you guys.
If everybody here went into carpentry.
Yes, which won't happen.
It won't, but that's what you're advising us to do. If we all went into carpentry.
You know why it won't happen? Because your parents won't treat you as well.
I come from a trade family, so
Right.
like
No, but I'm saying right now, how many of you guys, if you told your parents to become a plumber, they'd say, go back to college, you lost your mind? Yeah, everyone. The point being is that like your parents think that success is getting some stupid piece of paper when there's millions of dollars waiting for you to be made. Millions.
But is that college being dishonest? Is that
Yes, of course. First of all, it's scamming you on the price. You guys are paying way too much money to be here. You're here for too long. You guys could get what you need in literally a year and a half. But if you guys want,
I agree. And I went to college. A lot of useless classes,
There's a lot of discussion happening on like the costs of college and how egregious it is.
Yeah, but
I mean, I would probably
discussion,
agree. Yeah.
but not saying it's a scam. And it is. I mean, to be honest, half you guys are being totally ripped off that you're here. It's totally unnecessary. Like, if you guys became plumbers instead, you would make more money 5 years after and have no debt.
Well, the average plumber the median plumber is probably, I think it was like 61.5.
Yeah, it's way higher than that in Clark County right now. Way higher.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but that's
because there's a shortage.
We're
Now,
talking about like
why,
average, right?
why
we
is
want to
there?
talk about like the overarching messaging that we want to send to the country. Maybe for something like Nevada, because I know Nevada, a lot of it is hospitality work. A lot of it is not college degree. No, I would agree.
But think about it. Why is it though that we have a shortage of plumbers? It's because we're sending our kids to go study things that don't matter, to go into debt, to find jobs that don't exist. So we might not agree on it. Just some things to think about.
Yes, sir. I got one more.
Rob a grocery store if you're hungry. I don't think it's okay to rob a bank if you're poor.
Right.
Okay. Do you?
Usually, I do not think it would be okay. But if someone's under extreme circumstances, I can understand why they might make a decision.
Well, hold on a second. People are not coming to America under extreme circumstances.
Really?
What circumstance that their countries are poor? That's 6 billion of the 7 billion people on this planet. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a right to just walk into somebody else's country?
I'm not saying they should just be able to come here willy-nilly. All right.
But they are, right? And they should be removed and returned to their country of origin, right?
If they can go back there, but that's not always an option.
Well, there's flights every day. Like, you can definitely go back.
I don't mean in terms of transportation. I mean countries like, you bring up what?
Name one country. El Salvador, it's actually safer than America. Venezuela, it's now safer than America. Why? Because they're sending their criminals here. They're opening their prisons and sending the migrants here. That we have a migrant crime wave. I think it's okay.
Yes, sir. Got to keep it focused. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much. If you guys haven't done so already, just hit the like and subscribe. Also, after video post, can you please write a comment under the video? It helps the algorithm. And then you can hype the video for free. Those are the best ways to help support a channel for free. All right, you guys. God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.